When you've been injured in an accident, one thing leads to another. Your injury leads to treatment. Treatment leads to hospital bills. Bills lead to debt. Debt leads to stress. The advocates can help relieve that stress. Having an advocate attorney on your side leads to faster resolutions, fair outcomes, and a peaceful recovery for you. You deserve an advocate.
This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, The Monty Show live on Tuesday, October 14th, 2025. I'm all out of sync today. It feels like next Thursday, this Tuesday. On The Monty Show, a lot to get to on the show today. As always, we are presented by The Advocates at theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business, hands down. Folks, if you get in an accident, you get hurt at work, make sure you get to the injury attorney experts. They've fought your fight. They've won that fight. They are ready to fight for you right now, where you need it, when you need it, and how you need it. Is that in a hospital room, in your home, on a phone, on a video call, you name it, they're ready to serve you. And the best part is you never reach into your pocket to pay the advocates, because you don't pay the advocates unless and until they win your case at theadvocates.com. I'll tell you what, Jake, this story coming out of Penn State, I think this is a huge story in college football. And it's the funny thing is, most people are not talking about the shocking candidate for the Penn State job. And I think we need to really have a serious discussion about Penn State. I know that a lot of people want to rip Penn State. And yes, I am a big believer they should not have a football program after all of the Sandusky stuff, the Paterno cover-up, all of it. All of it. I don't believe that Penn State should still be playing football, but they are. And that's where we find ourselves. And I am serious when I tell you it is very difficult for me to talk about Penn State with any kind of respect or admiration, because I have none. But the reality is that we're in a situation, and all of a sudden my TV just turns on. Like, it is sitting here next to me off.
Dude, the Monty Ghost followed you, bro.
The reality is Penn State is going after some pretty big names in the coaching search. Now, the reality also is that there is significant debate amongst college football executives about how good the Penn State job is. So, Jake, if I said to you, how good is the Penn State football job, what would your answer be?
Well, I think it's one of the biggest jobs to come available in some time. I mean, I think it's clearly a top job. I think it's a job that is obviously controversial because of the past, but at the same time, like, this is not some peasant program that doesn't spend money and hasn't been to the CFP in 15 years or whatever since its creation. I mean, this is a program that has been to the CFP pretty regularly, but hasn't won, and that's their major gripe. So I think, how good of an opportunity is it? Well, I think it's a really good opportunity. I don't think you become a head coach to run from expectations. So I don't think it's an issue that, there's the highest level of expectation at Penn State. But yeah, I mean, ultimately you're gonna deal with things being in the Big Ten and being at Penn State that maybe you wouldn't deal with, with other schools and other opportunities. But I would say right now it's probably the best job open.
I don't know that I'm willing to go that far. I do agree on some level that it's a good job. There's no doubt you have all the resources you need. Facility-wise, obviously, they are completely renovating their facilities. They're building an airport right next to the university now, the point is,
James Franklin got his wish, apparently.
You can recruit to your heart's content. You can do anything that you want to do football-wise in Happy Ending Valley. I think there is some trepidation. I think that when you look at the guys that they are recruiting. Obviously, Matt Rhule's a guy that a lot of people have brought up. I don't think there's any question. Jake, do you agree he's the number one? Like, what is your thought on Matt Rhule at Penn State?
I guess. I mean, I understand why, why Penn State would obviously look at Matt Rhule, obviously the ties and the history and everything and his personal history and all that. But I think that Matt Rhule I just don't love Matt Rhule for that job overall. But that's just my opinion. I do think that he's right at the top of their stack. I do think, people perceive him as a top tier candidate, but I guess my struggle is that, like, we're hearing this smoke about they're going to go swinging at the biggest names in college football. That's what the tweet said, or the reporting said that I saw, that Penn State is after the biggest names and they're going to call everybody and, do basically what anybody would do if they had that level of opportunity. But I just think that for me, like, Matt Rhule would probably be my third or fourth option after I call all the guys that are probably going to say no, but I have to call anyway. Just to.
Well, I think Matt Rhule builds programs, right? That's what Penn State needs. They don't have a quarterback. They're clearly not deep on defense, and they're not fast across the board. Matt Rhule has that. Matt Rhule knows how to get quarterbacks. Matt Rhule knows how to get depth, especially up front on his defense, and he loves guys that can burn. So I don't think there's any doubt that Penn State, if you hire Matt Rhule, you're going to build your program. You're going to build your depth of talent. Now, are you going to win national championships? I don't know. I don't think we've ever seen Matt Rhule coach at a university that has the assets and resources that he would have at Penn State. Because I'm telling you now, as much as Matt Rhule raves about Nebraska, they don't have probably half the resources they have at Penn State.
I came here for two reasons. I love the community here and wanted to live here, and I love it here. And I wanted to rebuild Nebraska football. And, Troy and I understand the steps that you need to take to make us Big Ten champions and national champions. This place is elite. And I want to be a great father, and I want to be a great college football coach. And so, I'm not going to talk a lot about job openings when they come. Maybe it's been a while here, but this is what happens when you win. I've dealt with it. We've won at Temple, and I dealt with it all the time. I've dealt with Baylor. I'm not going to talk about those things ever. I'm not going to talk about my contract here. I'm going to talk about the team. But I absolutely love it here, and I want us to continue to take the steps needed for us to turn this thing into a beast. And players all across the country want to come here. We have the best facilities. We have elite fans, and I'm just looking at the future. So. But again, I love that place. I love Pat. I love James Franklin. Sad that came to an end. I wish him the absolute best, but I'm really happy here and excited to get going this week on Minnesota.
The exact right answer. Matt Rhule's going to interview for that job. You don't play linebacker,
right he is, dude.
Yeah, you don't play linebacker at Penn State. Get to a certain arc in your career, have an opportunity to be the head coach at Penn State, and then not take the phone call. My question is, what does Patrick Mahomes think about this?
Votes in support of your coach, Matt Rhule. Yeah. How have you seen him handle the last 48 hours? Obviously, you guys know that his name's attached to this other job that's suddenly open. How have you seen him handle it?
I mean, it doesn't faze him at all. It's just people stirring stuff up and making things, bigger than it is. And I couldn't tell you he's as locked in as ever on this football game to get this win. So. I just had to make sure that everybody knew that that's our head ball coach, and he ain't going nowhere. He's staying right here.
Yeah, I think that's cool. That's cool, Patrick Mahomes. But I think that Matt Rhule's going to interview for that job. And if you take an interview for a job, you're serious about taking it, at least in college football, right? And I think we can sit here and Steely, exactly right. Coach speak. He sounds gone or big ass raise at Nebraska. That's exactly right. Right. I mean, how do you not? Yeah. Patrick Mahomes mini me. Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm very happy here, but I could be happier in Happy Valley. Yeah, you could. Right. Rhule is a jumper. Some coaches are always moving to a bigger program and offers. Yeah. Maybe he is.
Yeah.
Right?
I just think for me, part of it is that, Matt, his best days were at Baylor. His NFL days were obviously not great. And this idea that that he can get quarterbacks. I mean, yeah, he got Dylan Raiola, but do we really think that Dylan Raiola is a top talent or some great recruiting win?
I've heard all the people saying that Dylan Raiola is a legacy guy and that he's got family there. It doesn't matter.
Well, I wasn't even saying it from that standpoint. I'm just saying that it's not.
I think it doesn't matter how good or bad Patrick Mahomes light is today. It doesn't matter. He was a massive recruit who could have gone anywhere he wanted, and he went to Nebraska. I don't care why. Did you smash that 6-foot blonde? Oh, you did? Yeah. Do you care why? She was doing it as a favor and got a $10,000 check that you never knew about. Yeah, I don't care. Right? Yeah, I don't care.
Okay, any concerns about his ability to develop a quarterback then, or his coaching staffs at that point? Just an extension of him, obviously.
Certainly there's some of that. His defenses have been pretty good, right? I mean,
yeah,
and I think that's what he's known for.
I guess what's hard is we don't know who's available outside. Like we're obviously, everyone and their mom is speculating that Rhule is like their top candidate and he's available. Which
and I don't know
disagree
how he
with.
wouldn't be. I don't know how he wouldn't be. Right? I mean, if we're having a real honest discussion about Penn State, how's Matt Rhule not the top of the list? Because by all accounts, you're not getting Sark, right? They're not. I don't think they call Kirby smart. He is the antithesis of who's going to end up in that job.
Yeah.
You look at you're not getting. Kalen DeBoer's not taking that job. He's not, right? You don't leave Alabama when you've got yourself a quarterback. You want to talk about developing a quarterback. Ty Simpson's a legitimate Heisman quarterback right now because of Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah, I mean, you've just now started to get traction this season, which is, everything you want.
So you're not leaving that job, right? I mean, it dollars to donuts. He's not leaving that job. Is Dan Lanning leaving Oregon? I heard that today and I almost laughed because he's not leaving Oregon, not to go to Penn State. I think you are looking at Matt Rhule, and now the real shocker are some of the names who are not going to participate at Penn State. And I think one of those names is Dan Mullen.
He got his office yet. Your name had come up as a possible replacement for Yahoo Sports.
Yeah.
How are you going to keep from this becoming
I'll be here.
Distraction?
I'll make it. You want me to do that? I'm going to be the head coach of UNLV next year. I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere.
Have you said that to Eric Clark and your players yet?
I said to the players. I told them that. I said, good or bad, right? It's a transfer portal world. I said, don't get all excited. Think I might go somewhere that you think is like a better place. I'm going to be here.
See, right up until he said it's a transfer portal world, I believed every word he was saying. But then again, I'm stupid because you should never believe any word a coach says. But
yeah,
he's out, and now you get these multiple reports, and two of them from South Bend saying that Marcus Freeman is the number 2 candidate at Nebraska. To which I say, hey, I'll buy a ticket right now. I'll pack his shit and help him move to Happy Ending Valley. Like, you can have him. Just as a Notre Dame fan who, wants to win a national championship, but
I don't live in a what-if scenario.
Do you believe that Marcus Freeman is a candidate for the Penn State job? I do. Yeah. I think that I know a lot of people at Notre Dame. Am I close to that program? Not by any stretch. All of the people I know closer to Notre Dame say that there is wavering belief in whether or not Marcus Freeman can be a national championship coach at Notre Dame. And I think that belief is largely rooted in the fact that depth is an issue at Notre Dame. But I think Notre Dame also knows that if Marcus Freeman gets an offer from Penn State, they should hold the door for him, because that's a job that every coach in this country wants.
Mm-hmm.
Every coach in the country will answer the phone when there's a South Bend zip code on it. Do you believe he's a candidate?
in my opinion? Yeah, I
Do
mean,
you believe he's a candidate?
I think he's the perfect candidate for Penn State, in my opinion. He's a defensive guy that's younger. He obviously has shown the ability to finally develop a quarterback on some level. Obviously, CJ's gotten better. And that's probably not just Marcus himself doing that, but if it's your
He's
coaching
the head
staff,
coach.
yeah, he's the head coach. So, I give him that nod. And I think that, I think that the blueprint for, going out and getting a new head coach that can take you to the promised land is to find a guy that's a little bit on the younger side, not like the youngest ever, but just someone who trends a little bit younger, who is a good speaker, and someone that can, recruit. And I think that his biggest problem is that he's recruited his ass off on defense and has undersold his offense. And I think he's probably starting to learn that lesson now that we're starting to see the offense come along a little bit, and we're starting to see that, like, hey, you can have all world safeties and linebackers in an all world defense scheme wise, but if you don't have skill position guys on offense that can make plays and go up and get the 50-50 ball, what good is it? And so I think he's starting to learn that lesson. So for me, Freeman would be my number one choice if I'm Penn State, because he's younger and he's not rooted in.
You would take Marcus Freeman over Matt Rhule
without a question, not even a doubt. Matt Rhule hasn't been to a national championship game.
Matt Rhule played there. Matt Rhule,
that doesn't matter for me, dude.
That's not I understand, dude. I get it. You're not a Matt Rhule guy. I am telling you, they need a reload.
But I'm trying to understand. Here's the thing. I'm trying to understand, like, so in coaching hires, right? Like, I always set the like with Kenny Dillingham. Kenny going to ASU wasn't the reason they hired Kenny Dillingham. They hired him because he was younger. He was a shock to the system after what had just come through. And they needed a revamp, not just to the football program itself, but like culturally, they needed something that was very different, and Kenny provided them that. But here, this is a different thing. Because ASU doesn't have, in my opinion, until last year, really, they didn't have national championship aspirations in reality, maybe in their wishes, but not in reality. With Penn State, the difference is that this is a national championship contender most years, or it had been under James Franklin. And my problem is that we're all sitting here saying, wow, Penn State's going to have more resources for Matt, and Matt played there, and this should be a good fit for Matt Rhule. But my question is, when's the last time Matt Rhule won on the national stage? When was the last time that we said, okay,
Baylor.
well, hey, yeah, but did he win a national championship there? Am I just forgetting that?
No, but he came really close. And the other thing that you're leaving out of this is he's a really good recruiter. And that's Marcus. That's why Marcus Freeman is. I think that's why Marcus Freeman is such a hot candidate. Mm-hmm. Because he is an absolute dog of a recruiter in that region. He owns offensive and defensive linemen in that region. I mean, you look at you look at Notre Dame under Marcus Freeman, the only region of the country that and struggled is a bit much, but the only region of the country he hasn't dominated is Florida. You look at Louisiana, Alabama. We had the number one interior offensive lineman at Notre Dame who sees the game this weekend and then says, I had no idea this is what Notre Dame football was like. And that's real. Marcus Freeman, and I don't know how many of you probably all know this. The biggest hurdle with Notre Dame is you got to go to mass every day, right? And really every day is 3 times a week. And are you Catholic? Do you like, it's that stigma. But as soon as you can get a kid to come to campus, their closing rate is like 80%. Do you understand with 5-star recruits, when Marcus Freeman gets a 5-star recruit on campus, they essentially sign the piece of paper right there. He is a closer at Notre Dame. That's why, in my opinion, I don't think you're wrong that Marcus is number one. I think they're number one in 1A because they need somebody who can go in there and close. James Franklin is not a closer when it comes to recruiting because they know he can't win. But you look at Matt Rhule, and you look at the if you guys don't follow recruiting, you're better for it. Really, it's a dirtbag's life. But you look at the headlines coming out of like Rivals reaching out to all of Nebraska's top recruits, and what did most of them say? Well, I'm just trying to figure out where he's going to go. I'm not going to Nebraska, or I'm not going with Matt Rhule. I'm going where Matt Rhule's going. Matt Rhule's a really good recruiter. And I think that's a big part of this. But the idea that Marcus would leave Notre Dame to go to Penn State, that's what I'm struggling with. And when you look at the Big Ten and you look at where Marcus Freeman is, Penn State's a step down from Notre Dame. Why would Marcus Freeman leave Notre Dame to go to Penn State? That's the question I can't get answered. And if I look at where Matt Rhule is, Penn State is clearly a step up from Nebraska. With all due respect to Nebraska, because I think it's a fine program. There is no question that Penn State is a step up from Nebraska, and Matt Rhule is a guy that builds programs, recruits, has depth, and competes at some very lofty heights in college football. And you look at what did they finish number 2 at Baylor? Like what did he have? He had dominant talent, dominant players. He can do that at Penn State. And I think that's what makes him so dangerous, because what does he have? Now, has Dylan Raiola developed? No. But I think when you look at Matt Rhule, and I'll go back to that, what was it, 2018, where he loses the Big 12 championship game to Oklahoma, right? And 2019, and then they lose to Georgia
in the Sugar Bowl.
Yes, and you just start to understand all of the guys that he had recruited that year, and you start looking at guys like Charlie Brewer, who turned out not to be, but Charlie Brewer was everybody's All-American, right? And you look at his quarterbacks that year were Jerry Bohannon and Charlie Brewer. Like, he had 2 all-world, everybody wants him, could go play anywhere quarterbacks, right? And you start looking at the fact that he just had bros at Baylor, and you start looking now, he's got dudes at Nebraska. So I don't know. I think Matt Rhule's their all-in guy. I think Marcus Freeman's a smokescreen. I don't see him leaving Notre Dame to take that job.
Yeah, and the problem is I just don't love, I don't know. I don't love it. Like, I still need to see it with Matt Rhule. I mean, I understand he had that 1 year where, you were 11-1, you won Big 12 Coach of the Year. But I guess what I feel like we're doing with Matt Rhule is we're saying, hey, like, because he played there and because he had a good, because again, I don't think that, like, I had to look it up myself, and I remember watching those Baylor teams, but I had to look it up myself. Hey, how far did he get? And so it's like, I think the popular narrative is like, hey, well, he had a great run at Baylor. He then left to go to the NFL, and then he comes back, and, now we're at Nebraska, and it's been, I would say, slightly underwhelming based on the hype, but
wow, really?
Yeah. I mean, what has he done? Like, I don't think he's done anything.
5-1. Yeah. He's 5-1.
Yeah. But what do we do on the show? I mean, against who? Like, who are you 5-1 against this year?
I feel like it's never good enough. And this is what I talked about yesterday. When is it ever good enough in college football?
When you're definitively a powerhouse hire based on the performance you've had in your past roles.
Yeah, I just think he is. You look at what he did at Temple. You look at the fact that I would remind you about Baylor, that if memory serves, and I'm trying to look up their schedule right now, so forgive me if I get this wrong. He was at Baylor 3 years, and they won 1 game his first year.
Mm-hmm.
And then they won 10 or 11 games in his last year. Like, he builds programs, And you look at them this year, and again, I agree with you largely that their wins are Cincinnati, Akron, Houston Christian, Michigan State, and Maryland, and they lost to a really, really not good Michigan team. And that Michigan game was at home. But I mean, we'll find out with SC, and interestingly, they do go to Penn State. So
I'd be curious to see how people react to it if they do hire him. I mean, I would be really curious to see how people react to it. I think it's definitely going to be a mixed bag, and I definitely think that if you were to hire Matt Rhule, it would definitely be a very split conversation, and there would be a lot of yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that the guys that are no doubt about it hires are unavailable or are perceived to be unavailable. Maybe that changes in private conversations or something, but any of the candidates, the guys you were just naming, right? I mean, none of those guys are leaving their current posts, and Mike Elko's been thrown around. I'd probably have Rhule over Elko. I just, Elko's whatever. I mean, I like
that's a middle of the road hire.
Yeah. It's just an average hire.
I'm telling you, Matt Rhule takes a scrap heap and he turns it into a gem. And has Baylor been nearly even as competitive since Matt Rhule left? I would say they haven't been. Has you look at Temple's left for dead, obviously then he goes to the NFL, but if you look at what he's turned Nebraska into, I mean, you're looking at a guy again who I think won 5 games in his first year. He's won 5 games already. And I mean, obviously what are we talking about? Bo Pelini? Like, you want to talk about underrated Nebraska coaches? Like, I look at guys like Matt Rhule, and I think he's doing things that are very difficult to do.
But hear me out on their schedule here. So you got Minnesota, which I don't think is a cakewalk, being that that's a road game. Probably a game you should win, but that's probably not going to be a cakewalk.
I would agree.
Northwestern, you should beat Northwestern. Don't care what they did against Penn State. That team, was obviously defeated anyway. But then this run of USC, UCLA, and Penn State. Obviously, Penn State at that point is going to be playing with something to prove, I would guess, just after everything that's happened. And, I look at it and I say, okay, well, if you lose, let's say you lose all 3 of those, then how different is the narrative if you're, what would you be, 8-3 or whatever at that point? I mean, I just think that yes, he's off to a great start, but also, yes, this is the start you should expect if we're sitting here saying that this guy builds programs and is proven, right?
You sound like a guy that is rooting against Matt Rhule.
I'm not rooting against him. I'm just not going to sit here and drink the Kool-Aid and say that this guy is a great program builder when he did it at one place and hasn't really done it since.
Man, so what he did at Temple just doesn't count?
Not in today's college football. No, it doesn't.
Oh, come on.
No, it doesn't.
That was less than 10 years ago.
And what's changed in 10 years?
At Temple. To go 10-3 at 10, I don't know. I completely disagree. He is, in my opinion, I think Matt Rhule is the exact right guy. He played linebacker there. He's from there. He recruits there. He has relationships there. He can hire an elite staff and go there. Like, I don't know. Day old donuts. Matt Rhule leaving us for Penn State would be a bad thing for what we have built the last 2 years. You actually have momentum. I'm not saying that Matt Rhule's done what Bo Pelini did or what Frank Solich did, but I mean, his track record is, you go look, Matt Rhule at Temple, 2-10, 6-6, 10-4, 10-3. Matt Rhule at Baylor, 1-11, 7-6, 11-3. Matt Rhule at Nebraska, 5-7, 7-6, 5-1. He's doing it again. And it would be nice if he stayed somewhere more than 3 years, 4 years. But you hire him at Penn State, I don't think anybody questions it. I don't think anybody's like, what are you doing?
Where are they ranked right now? They're ranked. I can't remember where they're ranked right now. Where are they at in the AP?
Who are you talking about?
Nebraska.
Nebraska currently at this moment, and I think they're 25th, but I don't want to misspeak. They are 25th in the AP. So
just keep doing your job, right? Like keep winning, keep doing your job. Like
don't have any more Michigans.
I'm just
Michigans.
Done with like. I agree. There's a track record of like year 3 Matt Rhule is clearly a thing, but we're not just talking about run of the mill program here. The bar is high because it is Penn State, because it is a program that as mediocre as James Franklin had in the CFP regularly. So with that in mind, the person you hire damn well better continue to go to the CFP. And again, grace period, because he's got to rebuild and recruit and build it up, right? So there's going to be a grace period of probably 2 years where he's got to kind of get that thing going again, to your point. But if inside of 5-6 seasons, you haven't had 2-3 playoff appearances at Penn State with, again, to your point, with their resources and things like that, I do think that the pressure is ratcheted up more at that level. And that's why I think it's hard, because you're right. He hasn't been anywhere for more than 3 years. If you're Penn State and you make this hire, isn't part of this like, hey, dude, we need you to be here 5 years. We need you to actually commit to being here more than 3 seasons, because you're never anywhere for more than 3 seasons. That's part of it.
I think the names that are being thrown around with this job, I think Matt Rhule's an outstanding coach. I think what he's done just taking time last night to really look into the depth of talent that he's built at Nebraska. And I think this coming class and this coming portal will only cement that. I think what he did at Baylor is unquestioned. I think what he did at Temple's unquestioned. I think Matt Rhule would be an outstanding hire, because you cannot take a risk with this hire. And I've heard all kind of story about Brian Kelly. I've heard all kind. Mike Elko is a really good one. I just don't. You cannot. Mike Elko, with all due respect, is a risk. I think when we start looking at, the names that are on that list, it's why I think Matt Campbell is such an important guy, because again, we're told that Kirk Cignetti is out. He has made it very clear he's not interested in taking that job or leaving Indiana at all. So Kirk Cignetti's out. I think Kirk Cignetti would be a good hire.
Well, I will. Google me.
They allegedly reached out and are putting out feelers to a ton of coaches. But again, I don't think you're getting Kalen DeBoer. Brian Hartline continues to be a name that I think that's a risk. Brian Hartline should be the next head coach at Ohio State. There's no doubt in my mind. But I think guys like Matt Campbell, I think Eli Drinkwitz at Missouri is a phenomenal hire for them. I don't know if you don't get better than Matt Rhule. I can't think of a guy who would do a better job at Nebraska or at Penn State than Matt Rhule. Yep. David Persons, what the hell happened?
He didn't want to talk about it.
You want to talk about a hire? I mean, they're packing Sonny Dykes' office at this point.
Because this team is just hot ass.
You cannot continue to sputter like TCU's sputtering. I am shocked. Why would Marcus Freeman want to take a lateral move like that to have to rebuild a program from scratch? I don't even think it's a lateral move. I think it's a big step down. But, wish you were me. Penn State has been in discussions every year for the college football playoff, but last year when it went to the 12 was the first time they were in. True, but they are under James. The problem is, and I will just continue to say this, Mike Norvell. I will just continue to say this, Marcus Freeman. We're in a time where there's too much money being spent for you to be an average-ass football coach.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think it's why Matt Rhule is such a good candidate. He clearly builds programs. You need
6 double-digit win seasons under James Franklin, 1 CFP appearance. That's not good enough.
And you did not win games. You just did not win games.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I'm not rooting against Matt. I'm just telling you how I feel about Matt. I mean, I definitely think he's the best candidate that's theoretically on the market, right? Like he's the best fit. Like he's,
I don't think there's any doubt.
So I'm just saying, like,
if it wasn't Penn State, I don't think Matt Rhule would be on the market. I want to make that clear too. I don't think Matt Rhule's out looking for a job.
Yeah,
it's Penn State, and I think that's an important distinction. They will hire Billy Napier as soon as he gets fired from Florida. That's hysterical. That's funny. The Chad Carter. No, bad Monty. Keep Brian Hartline's name out your goddamn mouth. Well, sorry to tell you.
About my team.
Sorry to tell you. They are going to call him. And I think Brian Hartline, look, if we're being honest, Brian Hartline should be the next head coach of Ohio State. Is that going to happen? Probably not. I mean, there's too many other jobs out there. And Ryan Day does not appear to me to be a guy that is looking to, I don't think he's a guy that's going to retire anytime soon.
No,
right?
It's his prime. Why would you?
Mission forward for $5. Look up Chesney. He followed Cignetti at JMU and has Cignetti-like resume. And if I have to look him up, Penn State's not hiring him. The Chad Carter, $5 towards changing Brian Hartline's phone number so no one gets any ideas. And again, why is Brian Hartline such a good candidate at Ohio State? Well, because he played there. He is Ohio State. Right? He is Ohio State. So is Matt Rhule at Penn State. And I think that stuff matters. Phenomenal Hebrew. I wish Penn State will make calls to Tulane John Summerall. Can you make that higher?
No.
And I think this is the other thing that I hope people understand. This isn't a time to experiment with cool candidate guy. Not that that's what you're saying, but you need somebody like Marcus Freeman works because he went to the championship game last year. You can sell that. What I don't think you can sell is the fact that they're not deep and he doesn't have a quarterback. Right? And he went and got a guy that should have gone to Michigan. Now, CJ's worked out exceptionally well. So I don't know. I think Marcus comes with some fleas. Honestly,
no question. And I definitely think that there's a lot of like, hey, you can't. There's only a certain kind of guy that's a fit for this job. I mean, you can't be out here, picking from the G5. I mean, that's just not gonna work. And I also think that there's, again, the Penn State job is not like there's been drama in the Big Ten with Penn State, right? Obviously, and I think that also plays a role. It's not the whole story, but it's definitely a chunk of the story. So, I mean, there's gonna have to be a happy marriage between them and the candidate, whoever they wind up getting, in a mutual understanding of like, hey, James Franklin was here 10 years. And we're not looking for a cup of coffee, right? We're looking for someone that will build the program and will be here in the long term and will win national championships. I mean, that is the expectation.
Jimmy Otson, Deshaun Foster is UCLA. Yeah, with zero coaching experience, zero recruiting experience, zero staff building experience. Right? That, like, to me, that is such a different conversation. That was a terrible hire.
Yeah.
And not because he failed. I think we said that at the time they hired him. There are several coaches going to be available. Luke Fickell and Hugh Freeze are on the chopping block, right? But
again, they're not a fit.
Are you hiring Hugh Freeze at Penn State? That I don't see. So Brandon Butler. How many Blue Bloods are going to have an opening at the end of the season? Oh, I think it's going to be significant. I think you look in, and again, I always get chopped when I say this. I think Ole Miss is going to be open because he's going to get a job offer, Lane Kiffin. I think there is a better than average chance that LSU is open. I think it's going to be very interesting. Because he's a candidate at every major university.
Yeah.
What are you? And again, take how much I hate Joe Paterno and his entire existence out of it.
He's got no class.
Are you telling me that Notre Dame's a step up or a step down from Penn State? Notre Dame's a step up. Penn State's rungs below Notre Dame. I think Penn State's rungs below LSU. But Brian Kelly, you want to ride Matt Rhule for being disappointing or not enthusiastic at Nebraska? What the fuck is Brian Kelly at LSU?
Underwhelming.
But I don't think, and for the record, I don't think Matt Rhule is underwhelming at Nebraska. I totally disagree with you on that. I think LSU could be open. Like, I think there could be some very big jobs open. I think Oklahoma, I think Brent Venables isn't going anywhere. I look at like Eli Drinkwitz being a candidate. I think Missouri is a huge job. That is a good football program. Are they capable of winning the SEC? I mean, in a vacuum, they are. 1 year, sure. On the regular, probably not. Right? USC, is USC going to be open? That's a marquee job. Like, I just think there's a lot of openings that are going to happen. I think you could have. Now, what's a blue blood and what's not? I think you could have as many as 5 jobs in the current top 25 open at a minimum. And if we really start fishing and you go up and down, like you look at the Big 12, I mean, I think there is no question that Scott Satterfield's probably helped himself a lot at Cincinnati, going 5-1. He's got to finish stronger. I think he's out. I think Kyle Whittingham could retire at Utah, but then again, you have a coach in waiting under contract in Morgan Scalley. I think Dave Aranda's in real trouble. Matt Campbell, I think, is not going to get fired, but he's going to get multiple phone calls. Leipold, Chris Kleiman, I mean, Sonny Dykes. You know that Oak State's open. I mean, that's 9 jobs. The jobs that will not be open, Texas Tech, BYU, Arizona State certainly will not be open. I would think Colorado will not be open unless Deion retires for health reasons. And West Virginia. Every other job is on the table, including Houston. Right? So we're not like, and I know that that's probably not the most popular thing anybody's said, but I'm telling you right now, this is by no means a gimme. And I hope people understand. I think when you have gravitational jobs open, what if Lincoln Riley gets fired at USC? That's one of the premier jobs in college football. If they're who are you even calling? Who are you not calling?
Garrett Riley.
You're not calling Garrett Riley. I'd agree with that. Man, YouTube makes me crazy. I am sitting here trying to get the YouTube studio to work for me, and it just keeps erroring out. And we'll see. Like,
that's annoying.
It is annoying. YouTube is great. But today I had to do we put a bunch of metadata in the back end of YouTube. Had to do it 3 times today. Had to quite literally. We have to go in and set the monetization stuff and the keywords. Had to do it 3 times today. And I can't get back in, so I have no idea if it worked. Right? I have no idea if it worked. It's so frustrating to me. Anyway, all right, let's run through some of your comments. Travis says Penn State to hire G.J. Kinney. But again, how much of a risk is that? I think, and I don't know if you're being serious or you're just trolling. I think football fans don't understand risk averse athletic directors, and really these searches are not run by athletic directors. They're run by search firms who bring candidates to presidents and athletic directors, but these guys are not going to take a risk. They cannot take a risk at Penn State. You just can't. Pedo State's success is truly when they are independent. I think Pedo State is about to get a rude awakening of high caliber coaches saying no. I think that's very true. And Penn State, and I know that Penn State fan got in the comments last night and went absolutely ham because I said this yesterday and I'm going to say it again. I don't think it's a marquee job. I honestly think you can't call Kirby Smart, Steve Sarkisian. You can't call, I mean, I guess you can call him, but again, Marcus Freeman being a candidate tells you exactly all you need to know about Marcus Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
You can't call Dan Lanning and expect him to leave Oregon to come to Penn State. Especially now that Penn State's an Adidas school. It's not going to happen. I mean, it is so difficult just to...
It is.
Neuheisel doing well at UCLA is a conflict. Is the new head coach hire going to retain him? If not, is USC going to snipe him? Could be. I mean, I think everybody, I think, is well aware that Jerry Neuheisel is not going to be the head coach at UCLA. You know, but we'll see. I just don't know.
Yeah, I guess they're unwilling to take a flyer twice in a row.
Yeah, I don't know. You know the other technical issue that I'm having right now? Like my phone won't turn on right now. It now a new iPhone got released, so historically that means iPhones across the world are dying. But I have a new iPhone, won't turn on.
Has it been good so far?
Oh, I don't have the newest iPhone. My iPhone.
No, I know, but like that one's relatively new. Like,
yeah, it's been fine right up until right now, and it just won't turn on.
Maybe it's rando updating.
I don't know, but that's why I said like my TV, my YouTube today, it's weird.
That is strange that like the TV turned on by itself.
It's annoying. Big Blue Horses, best feel for a new Gator head coach, given the horrible AD in place. Garrett Riley. I think, well, first of all, I think you have to, are you firing Billy Napier?
I would.
I think their schedule is going to make that almost impossible to avoid. I think when you look at, that's a job that I would hire Garrett Riley. But I think Lane Kiffin, I don't know, does Dan Lanning leave Oregon to go from Oregon to Florida? Is Florida a step up from Oregon? Almost certainly. Right? Everybody, when I look at Oregon football, is that a program that's capable of winning a national championship?
Yes.
I don't know about that. Why does everybody leave that job for better jobs?
Well, everybody. I mean,
the last several guys. Chip Kelly. Look at Mario Cristobal.
Yeah, but was that Chip or was that Oregon? Right? I mean, Chip hasn't really done anything.
That was Chip.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that Chip. You can't tell me that Chip Kelly got fired at Oregon. You can't tell me Mario Cristobal got fired at Oregon. No, he left to go to Miami. Miami is not as good a job as Oregon. There's no way, but he's returning home. Okay, cool. But does it surprise you at all if Dan Lanning taken the Bama job? If Dan Lanning gets a phone call to go and interview for the Penn State job, is Penn State a better job than Oregon?
I mean, I don't think so, but I think when we start talking about better job, like it's obvious that better job is defined by who you're asking, right? I mean, for Dan, I mean, I think Dan's red assery for me and his history in the SEC. Yeah, his red assery, his history in the SEC. You know, I just don't see him as a great fit for Penn State overall, like personality wise. You know, I think Dan is much more of a SEC guy overall, and Oregon was the best opportunity that was offered to him, and so he took it, But to me, it's like, I don't have any doubt that, dude, Oregon is under Dan Lanning. Oregon is more than capable of winning a national championship. We only have doubts about that because of how poorly they played against Ohio State. But he's right in the same position that James Franklin was.
Right, but they're not talented defensively. They need another layer minimum. That's truly what we found out this year. And
this week.
No, this year. Week. Have I not been telling you? I think the biggest question is they don't rush the passer. I mean, they physically try, but Oregon doesn't get home against decent offensive lines. They're one of the worst sack teams in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been trying to espouse that all year, but my opinion is Dan Lanning's a good coach, not a great coach. And you become a great coach when you consistently repeat results. And he has not done that. And I know we talked about this a good part of the summer. Have they recovered from the playoff loss? Does Dan Lanning win big games?
I mean, I would say so. Yeah. I mean, he lost this week, but he's won big games.
What was the bigger game, Indiana or Penn State?
I mean, I think at the time Penn State was, but obviously with where we're at in the season, Indiana.
I don't know. I think there are some questions to be answered by Dan Lanning. And really, I do think Florida is a slightly better job just because of where it is. Eugene, Oregon's an awfully difficult place to recruit to. And as many assets and resources as they have at Oregon, I think, again, that's the Notre Dame thing. I don't think a lot of kids have any idea what boots on the ground in Eugene, Oregon look like. Because if you're asking a kid from Miami-Dade, Florida to go play football in Eugene, that's an awfully lonely place to be. So I think it's an interesting. I don't have to. Do I have to convince a kid from Eugene, Oregon to go play football in Gainesville? Probably not. Do I have to convince a kid from Gainesville to go play football in Eugene, Oregon? I probably do. Now, portal, different story. But the best programs, as we're learning, right? Julian Sayin, CJ Carr to a lesser extent, Ty Simpson. You look at the true freshmen that are making a difference in this league and in college football in general. Those are the guys that are winning for Miami, for Notre Dame. Now, Notre Dame's not playing anybody, but you look at how big Bama's going. I think it matters. I do. I think, Big Pun, if I think contracts for coaches about to get much shorter, 4 years is going to be hard to get. I think they're going to be 3-year deals. I do. Penn State, more like a top 10, 15 job overall. For Rhule, it might be mama calling. See, I agree with that. I think that will not work out, though, the way you think. He's good, but he's not great. On field, he hasn't beat top 25. But how many guys don't win top 25 matchups until they do? I mean, if that is the bar, James Franklin's going to be banned from college football.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think guys like the biggest question about Dan Lanning is that playoff loss. How much impact is it having on this team?
Well, I mean,
because you got your ass beat at home by Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Were you hungover from the Penn State game? Could be, but you're not talented defensively. That to me really, they're not. And if you start looking at the numbers, I mean, it is shocking. It is just shocking to me that they're not better. And I want to understand it, because Dan Lanning, you would think, bro, would be better, right? But they're not better.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Listen, I think if you look at this season, we just sat here and said 5-1 was a good record, 6-1 was a good record. You know, for what are they, 5-1? You know,
Relative to who you've played, sure, yeah.
you know, so like, yeah, I mean, obviously, like, if you want to hate on Dan Lanning, yeah, you barely beat the first team on the road, Penn State, took overtime and took your linebacker making a play, and honestly took a really bad decision by average ass Aller, who's out for the year now. But then, you know, I think the Indiana game, you were humbled by a quarterback that could actually throw the football, right? I mean, that's the biggest difference. Like you were not playing a team that had to run the ball to have success, but they did run the ball, and then they did throw the ball, and then you were unable to answer that. And so,
They
you know, I
have
think that's
26, bro. They have 26 tackles for loss on the entire season.
Mhm.
Right. I mean, does that resonate with you that they have, if you look at Indiana, the best, they have 57. If you look at Maryland, USC's got 45. They've got 20 more tackles for loss than Oregon.
Mhm.
And what do we rip Lincoln for? Like this is the stuff I'm telling. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I look. I think it's easy to, like. I don't disagree. The numbers are the numbers. You can make a case with the numbers. The reality is the guy's 40-7 at Oregon and hasn't had a season under 10 wins yet. So I agree, their defense is questionable, no question about it. You know, you have to ask questions. I completely agree. And I think, again, as I said yesterday, I think he got exposed physically, right? Like, Indiana came in and physically pushed you around, and you didn't have a great answer for that. And the real shocking thing is that your decision making on offense, to me, was average at best. No idea why you're trying to run between the tackles against Indiana. No idea. No idea why you're not using your speed and your skill on the edge to outplay them. So I just think they played poorly. And yeah, the defense is questionable. But again, on the flip side of the coin, what we also can't get away from is that it's the Big Ten, and now you've got 5 weeks of average ass opponents to end your year, and then you get USC and Washington that are going to define where you're at in the CFP.
So listen, I'm not trying to be a cock about this. And I know you, speaking of which, I know you love deep throating Dan Lanning. Who leads the Big Ten in pass defended?
I'm sure it's Indiana.
No, it's Oregon. It's not a good stat. When they have, I'm just telling you, this team's not good defensively. I can sit here and throw numbers at you.
That doesn't mean they're not a good team. They just are not good defensively.
Yes, I think they have one of the best quarterbacks in the country who is getting his ass handed to him.
Mm-hmm.
If we're being their defensive numbers, you guys. So you only have 10 sacks and you've defended 27 passes, which means teams are throwing on you. And that's what's really scary to me. Like, I look at some of the analytics,
but part of that is the scheme they run to, because they don't have the size up front. So they're running a lot of extra DB packages to try to play to their strength defensively. Clearly, I mean, I don't think that's rocket science.
And I want to make this clear. I really like Dan Lanning. I would love Marcus Freeman to take Penn State and Dan Lanning to backfill it. No, but he's got to recruit defense. They've got a portal defense, because you've got too much offense to be sitting here, you know, doing whatever this is defensively.
Well, what it is giving up 30 points to Indiana, which at home, which is not a great look. But again, I think I think it's matchup dependent for Oregon as to whether they struggle defensively. If they play a team that's got a quarterback that can throw, like really throw, has touch, can spot the football, understands the coverage, you know, is really good from the pocket, that's a team that they're probably going to struggle against a little bit. And that's why I think, again, this harkens back to the Ohio State loss, right? I mean, they just didn't have an answer for what Will Howard and that offense were doing, because Will Howard can place the ball anywhere, and you look like you didn't get off the bus that day. And so you got your ass handed to you. So it's not that it's like, yeah, I do like Dan Lanning. I like Oregon a lot. I think they're tougher than most teams, but I think Curt Cignetti, deserves his flowers, and Indiana is while they are a really good team, I think the core of their team is, hey, we want to come in and kick your ass. Like, we want to physically, lean on you, and we want to hurt you. So I think that to me, like, outside of the defensive stuff, like, that to me was the biggest problem over the weekend for Oregon, is that this was the first time this year where you were like, yeah, we saw little shades of this against Penn State, but you were able to overcome because Aller's not a good passer. And then Indiana kind of comes in as like, 2.0 version of Penn State in a sense, and kind of lights you up at home. And you weren't able, like, as soon as you didn't get that 4th down in the first quarter, I was like, yeah, dude, you're going to have a long day. Because if you can't get 1 yard at home, you're just going to have a long day. So I think what's difficult is that, yeah, Eugene is a lonely place. It's not Miami. It's not, like, I saw I can't remember who it was. I saw somebody commenting that Bloomington is much harder to recruit to than Eugene. And I completely disagree with that. I mean, if you're in Bloomington, a 2.5 hour flight to Florida or any other destinations around there. Like in Eugene, like you're either going down to LA or you're going up to Seattle. I mean, those are the 2 places you're going.
I got friends of mine texting me about this Oregon conversation, asking me if I'm jealous because I can't get. Apparently, some folks watched the show yesterday where I was talking about how many Jordan 4s I have. I can't get Jordan 4s in Oregon Duck colors, bro. Like, you guys are fucking wild. You are out of your mind. You are
That's
out
elite
of your
level
mind.
trolling, bro.
You're out of your mind, man. Like,
dude.
I just because we're honest about somebody doesn't mean that I don't hate Oregon. The basketball court sucks, but I don't hate Oregon.
I agree with you on that. And I haven't even seen this year's rendition yet.
Mission forward. You've obviously never been to Bloomington. Yeah, because I didn't live in West Lafayette and grow up in Chicago. Yeah. Bloomington. I've never been to Bloomington.
Idiot.
Please. Monty's party deck at his condo building. We need an update on smoking guy.
Yeah, how's that dude been, bro?
No, dude, I don't know. That was at the temporary.
That's right. That's right.
Station.
Yes. Yeah. The truck stop.
Yeah, I'm not the. I'm in my own place now. This is where I'm going to be permanently, and I have no issues with weed smoking guy. I'm sleeping like a baby, dude. Like, fantastic. Ram Spencer, Eugene, and nice place, bro. The wilderness rocks. The football player life is about football team and school. Really easy to stay focused in Eugene. I don't.
No, it's really easy to stay focused in Eugene because there's nothing to do outside of hike and that's it. Like, if you're in Eugene, you're focused on football, dude. Like, that's it. Like, I'm not, bro. I live here. I've lived here long enough to learn the lesson, right? Like, it's pretty. There's a lot of trees. You like to hike. You like to camp. It's great. No question about it. But if I'm a D1 football player trying to win a national championship, Eugene, in terms of market, is not one where I'm like, oh, man, wow, I'm just blown away by what's not going on here in the public.
A lot of how are the ladies in Eugene, Jake?
I wouldn't know.
I don't know. I have a girlfriend, and I have a girlfriend, and my eyes are only focused on her.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
Okay. Oh, look at that. Greg Hawkins. Have you recovered? I've not recovered yet. Greg Hawkins, member for 20 months. I'm in the elevator with a guy wearing a Mariners hat and a dumper uniform. This town is lit on the Mariners right now. This guy's wearing a Cal Raleigh jersey and a Mariners hat, and I'm wearing a Cubs hat. And he's like, hey, I've never met this guy. What do you think he said to me? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, thanks, Dick. Thank you. Like, it is, it hurts my heart how good the Mariners are and how bad the Cubs are. It hurts my heart. Bloomington is very boring. It's not boring. Why do you come in here and insult people? Like, it's all you do. Bloomington is Bloomington. It is what it is. It is Indiana University. There's beautiful country out there. I have been to I've been to a number of basketball games in Bloomington, and it's not boring. It's beautiful. It's a college town. It's not West Lafayette. All they have there is Eli Lilly and fucking weeds on train tracks. That's boring. Right? That's boring. Like West Lafayette, they all think they make the best pizza. Shut up. No, you don't. Bloomington is not a bad town. It's actually a really good college town.
But that's the problem. It's a town, not a city.
Yeah, correct. As is Eugene. And I will again tell you, Seattle, UW is a big deal here. Like what Damon Williams did over the weekend with 400 and 100, people are talking about it. Greg Hawkins also says, by the way, go Utes, beat BYU. 5 minutes, we'll get to
that, bro.
Kyle Whittingham. Flights to Florida is what's selling you on Indiana. This is just West Coast mentality, longing for East Coast living. We have the opposing mentality here on the East. Well,
what does that even mean? You have the opposing mentality, bro. Like if you're talking about dude, if you're talking about recruiting, your sales pitch is not that there's a lot to do in Eugene. I got news for you, bro. There's not a lot to do in Eugene, dude. Like, here, let me be the asshole, dude. There's not a lot to do in Eugene. Okay.
Jake lives, just so everybody knows, Shake lives in Eugene, Oregon.
I live 20 minutes from Autzen. And I will tell you this, on game day, Eugene and the town next to it where Simpsons was founded, Springfield, yeah, the whole town is green. Okay. So it is Oregon, and that's it. And again, I'm not hating, but we're going to tell the truth. And that is that if you live in Eugene, there is nothing within like major city wise, right? Portland is 2.5 hours worth of a drive.
Oh, damn. Is it really?
Seattle is 4.5, depending on what you consider the speed limit on the 5 freeway.
Jake. Portland's a war zone. You don't want to go there.
You're right. So I wouldn't mention that right now in the sales pitch. Yeah, that's a war torn. Everything's burned down. The Nike store's not there anymore. You know, you can't get green color Jordans or anything like that. They don't even have knockoff Dame time anymore in Anthony Simmons, right? He's gone too. So that town, yeah, budget Dame. He's in Boston now, okay? And he's lighting it up. But again, I'm just sitting here saying, like, you're trying to tell me that this is somehow a West Coast mentality. Bro, I grew up in Illinois. Like, I lived there for what, 15 years, bro? Like, I know what it is. If you're recruiting the East Coast and the Midwest for Mr. Google Me guy, he's going to have a much higher rate of success doing that from Bloomington than you would from Eugene. I'm telling you, your biggest selling point in Eugene is that you can get free Jordans and that you're on national TV every single week. Those are the two things you're leaning on because you're a really good football team and you got the Nike connection. That's it.
Yeah, I think, and I think that's what makes Dan Lanning such a special coach. Now, again, I really wish that he would. Yeah, I want Oregon to be better. I think Oregon could transform the fate of the Big Ten. And I just don't know that. I don't know that Dan Lanning is. I don't even know that he's capable of that. I mean, I really hope that at some point we figure that out and Dan Lanning has all the success in the world because I love the guy. I do. I am a big Dan Lanning fan. So OTC Mapes, the newest member of the Monty Show. It's fine. Jake now owns an umbrella tin.
Right.
I actually have a PXG umbrella bin. If the city that the school was in mattered, Alabama wouldn't have 100,000 NCs. Well, but it also has 100 national championships, and that's what matters more than Tuscaloosa.
Bro, you're missing the point here, bro.
I
you guys
agree.
are all missing the point. Nobody gives a damn about the city itself. What is around Eugene? Have you guys ever taken a second to look like, hey, well, if it's the off day and I'm a college football player at Oregon, what am I going to go and do? Because as someone who just left an emerging metro in Salt Lake, and as someone who's lived in LA and has lived in Chicago, recently went back and visited Chicago several months ago now, like, as someone who's been in the major city, dude, as a kid from not here, there's not, like, you don't even have, like, a great, just an awesome, no doubt about it, that's the bar in town place. There's a bunch of just small little spots scattered around, mom and pop. Like, it's not, I'm telling you, it's different, bro. It is absolutely positively different. Now, again, I agree. It's pretty. Dude, everyone jokes about the trees. The trees are different here, dude. It is truly one of the most special things I've seen in terms of nature. I've seen mountains, oceans, all kinds of stuff. But don't try to tell me, dude, don't tell me that there's not a conversation around the fact that Tuscaloosa is a cup of coffee worth of a plane flight to Florida or to New York or to Chicago, when Eugene is on this, what might as well be an island on the West Coast in the Pacific time zone. It is a different beast, bro. It's totally different.
Very different. Dude that abides, I'm not here to argue, but you haven't said anything other than Bloomington greater than Eugene based on what? Okay. I mean,
what do you mean? Bro,
I don't know
I just
what you're talking about.
What are you talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about. Is this going to be that day this week? Eugene women have hairy armpits.
Chewy.
You might want to figure out Roki Sasaki's armpits before you start talking about women in Eugene.
The victory has already been won.
Bloomington is Amish country for Indiana. Like, why are you hating on Bloomington so much?
That's what he does, dude.
Is this because you had no joy this weekend? I mean, the Tigers are done. Michigan sucks. Are you going to get on board with what I've said about Michigan? Because you want to talk about a job that could be open. Sharon Moore ain't comfortable in Ann Arbor. I hope people begin to understand that. I really, really hope that you understand that. I think Michigan's a bad football team, and I think I'm not the only one saying that. Finally, I am not the only one saying that's a bad fundamental football team. That is a poorly coached football team.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a lot of folks wondering, what was Bryce Underwood so happy about on the sideline? And I think Joel Klatt's a very nice human being. Him comparing Arch Manning and his frustration on sidelines this year to Bryce Underwood playing half as well, if that, of Arch Manning, and laughing and joking and ha hoo on the sideline the other night was a bad look. That was a bad look, bro. Bad. TCU James. Indiana can't recruit high school players from Ohio or Pennsylvania. They should have a good football team. Can recruit. Well, that's part of the reason that James Franklin's not the head coach at Penn State anymore. And any high school kid worth his salt in Ohio isn't going to Indiana. So, is what it is. I live in Bakersfield. It's the biggest boring city in California. Bakersfield is the 8th largest city. I've driven through there a time or 27. Wasaklowski, sometimes. Dude that abides, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm talking about what you're talking about. Recruiting regards town of Eugene versus Bloomington.
Right, but what are you confused about, bro? You're saying you don't understand.
What is confusing about that? See, in all seriousness, like, again, is there anybody who thinks South Bend, Indiana is a compelling place for 20-year-old kids to go and live their lives? Because it's not. I've been to South Bend more times than I care to admit. That place isn't fun. It's Notre Dame and then everything else.
But the overreaching point is that you're around a lot of other markets, in that you are
I can go to Chicago in about an hour.
Yeah, like you're right around a bunch of major recruiting area. Like, for a kid who lives in you find a kid in, Texas, let's say, or let's say you find a kid in Florida. It's probably a little easier on them with their family and everything. If you say, yeah, I'm going to go play at Indiana because I'm a D end or a linebacker, and I really like what Cignetti's doing in terms of developing guys, and it's about an hour flight, 2-hour flight, to wherever it might be in this region, versus a 3.5, 4-hour flight from Eugene, which I might add, let me point this out too. There are no Eugene to the East Coast direct flights. Eugene to Salt Lake, Eugene to Seattle, then you're going out. So
I think it's really tough. It is what it is. We're over talking it. I missed yesterday's show, only operating on 4 hours of sleep. If Moore loses one more big game, he could be gone. Well, should be gone because you guys are not good. The natural, why did he go for 2 when they were down 11? Good
I think
question.
he was looking for momentum, bro. That's what I was asking myself the same thing. And I think a lot of people are asking that question. And I think it was just a thing where he was like, all right, well, we're down 11. What really do we have to lose in this situation? Like, let's try to go and get, let's try to go to convert 2, let our offense feel good about it. Then at least if we can get a stop, then we have some momentum to go and put one more drive together to try to win the game. But,
Is it me? Or is it shocking how stupid some of these coaches are?
In what sense?
Do you guys understand that these folks work on 2-minute drill? And do you understand that they work on when to go for 2 and when to go to 1? Do you understand that most staffs have a guy who is screaming in the coach's ear, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2? That head football coaches have so much going on upstairs, they don't have time or presence. It's why you see guys forget to call timeout. It's why you see guys make little mistakes. When you see a coach continuously making stupid decisions or mistakes, it's because he doesn't have a staff. When you see a head football coach against Ohio State have 10 guys on the field, 2 out of the 3 last plays against Ohio State in his own building, he doesn't have a good staff. Why do you never see or rarely see who's got one of the best staffs in college football? Why do you rarely see Steve Sarkisian call a timeout at the wrong time, go for 2 at the wrong time? Because he's got that's what analysts and quality control guys, that's their only job. Who do you think baseball managers make a decision on when to review and not review, or when to walk a guy? No, they have a guy with a book that's about this big with statistics in front of him, projecting every scenario. It's the same thing with football coaches. They have guys up in the box with a headset on, projecting forward. That's why they're called analysts. Hey, here we are. We're first and 10. We ran the ball. Okay, now we're 2nd and 12. By percentage, like these guys literally, do you understand this? By percentage, 3rd down is going to be 3rd and blank based on our offense. And they have plays ready. They tell this guy, and hey, we're going for 2 if we score here. Like on 1st down, and let's say you score on 4th down, like what because you're quality control guys. So that's an indication that you have a shitty staff. That's what that is. There's no recruiting that compares to Draper, Utah in more ways than one. Okay, there is that.
Brother.
Here's a good example. There's not a lot to do in Stillwater. Why are you talking about Stillwater, Oklahoma? That's a random poll. Most football and basketball players go to parties in OKC or Tulsa. How do you know?
But what do they do in Fort Worth? You're a TCU fan.
How do you know that about Stillwater?
Yeah, I mean, shouldn't you be talking about Fort Worth?
Yeah. Gabriel, just wanted to randomly point out how UCF, which is located smack dab in the middle of Florida, sucks at recruiting. Well, no. Hire a coach. Spend the money. What happened? And we're in the Big 12. We're spending the money. We're doing the jet. Well, it turns out you're not.
Apparently you're not.
Gabriel says, as a UCF fan, I feel the pain every week. I know. Gabriel, Gabriel, once construction is done, I really think the bounce house will be amazing. Okay. Rex Kwan, not Doe. Cincinnati and Louisville are, 2 hours away from Bloomington? Then Fort Wayne, 1.5 hours away. Much more to do in and around Bloomington. I would agree with that. When it comes to recruiting, the highest level isn't about NIL and exposure more than proximity to home or non-football things. No, it's money and playing time. It's money and playing time. A kid will take less money to be guaranteed a starting spot than more money to have to play third string. So I don't think that's even an argument. Oregon is levels above Indiana in recruiting, and it's not debatable. Oh, that's certainly true. On where kids would rather go, it takes 5 minutes to look this up. Yeah, Oregon is a far better situation for kids than Bloomington. They have more money. They have more resources. They're on national TV every week. Oregon
Nike and Adidas.
Yeah. Nike, it's a Jordan school, it's a Nike school, it's a Phil Knight school. Yeah, there's no doubt. Aaron Glenn and the Jets are basically screwing up the 2-minute offense before halftime. New coach. So go Buckeyes. You guys are gonna win a national championship, I think. Could be wrong. You score 2, you only get to 9. You still need a field goal and a touchdown. Still a 2-possession game. Doesn't matter. You miss the 2-pointers, you have to then go score and 2-point conversion and a field goal. It makes 0 sense. I totally agree with that. If Kelly plays Saturday, I like BYU's chances. It should be close, and special teams will play a factor. It's not. I don't think it's going to be close. I truly do not. I think this is going to be one of the most lopsided games in Holy War history. 871-0. BYU is great there. Okay. I think the real question is, how good is the Holy War? I think it's phenomenal. And I think the other real question is, why do people pick on Max Hall's mom?
I like Utah. In fact, I hate them. I hate everything about them. I hate their program. I hate their fans. I hate everything. So it felt really good to send those guys home. They didn't deserve it. It was our time, and it was our time to win. We deserved it. We played as hard as we could tonight, and it felt really good, again, to send them home, to get them out of here. So, a game we'll always remember. I mean, I think the whole university and their fans and the organization is classless. I think, they threw beer on my family and stuff last year and did a whole bunch of nasty things, and I don't respect them.
Yeah, I hate Utah. It's crazy. And then Kyle Whittingham, what university are you talking about?
BYU quarterback Bear Bachmeier. I'm just going to focus on us this week, our guys, our coaches. So I'm not going to give much thought on the opponent this week. And so, really, you have to ask them, what they think of Bear.
So, you know how all the idiot Michigan fans are like, well, it's been 30,267 seconds and a half since Ohio State beat Michigan. Somebody needs to start a clock counting down to when the last time Kyle Whittingham uttered 3 letters, BYNU. The guy just won't say it. Now, the Kalani, on the other hand,
he has great vision, and that's in the passing game and in the running game. He's an efficient player. So when you look at his stats, I mean, he knows where to go with the ball, and he's well coached. I think Jason Beck's done a great job tutoring him, mentoring him, and there's a reason why they brought him, with him. And so I think he looks really comfortable out there, and whatever you need him to do, he's willing to do it, and super tough. I think a lot of attention will go to his legs because he can run, but he can throw too, and I like this overall presence on the field.
Kyle,
BYU quarterback Bear Bachmeier, and I'm just going to focus on us this week, our guy.
It sounds familiar. Bear somebody or something.
Yeah, some kind of animal or something down at that, Nowhereville, Provo. I don't know, man.
And the funny part about Witt is that BYU fan is so incredibly pissed that Kyle Whittingham won't say BYU and won't say BYU player names and won't talk about BYU. Kyle Whittingham played football at BYU. Kyle Whittingham is an LDS man, and he will not say the words BYU. Won't say Brigham Young. Won't say BYU. And BYU fans are like, I can't believe how offensive this is. I'm going to pray for you.
Thoughts and prayers to Kyle Whittingham, because his lack of judgment in mentioning our name is just astounding.
I don't understand. Why is this insulting? Why is it insulting?
Why can't Kyle Whittingham just continue to be a red ass about BYU, right? I mean, what would you expect? Would you expect him to say BYU after what went down at last year's game up on the hill? Would you expect Kyle Whittingham to say, "Oh yeah, man, wow,
a lot of respect for BYU.
Jake, I mean, Bear is a great quarterback, and gosh, Kalani's awesome, and awesome stadium."
When our fans send women down to their players' apartments, things generally end in our favor.
Yeah,
we really like BYU. I'm a big fan of the honor code.
Yeah, really appreciate the dating staff in our football program. They've done a great job, and we've really developed them.
Our social media team knows how to cement relationships.
I mean, just a hell of a job matchmaking, Just great job, guys.
I don't know why BYU fan is so offended by it. I think in this rivalry, I think BYU fan is soft, and I know that's not going to be popular.
Well,
did Utah fan pour beer on Max Hall's mom?
Yes.
No idea. Did they throw knives on the field at Texas Tech?
Yes,
All
yes,
15 million of you in the comment section. There was no knife. Prove it, Monty.
And then it gets reported that a folded pocket knife was found on the field. Nice job, guys.
I mean, I just think BYU fan.
Monty, we're 801, and the narrative is that there was a pocket knife thrown. How could you do that?
BYU fan wants to win. If BYU fan wins a national championship,
we're the show's done. We're not. I'm not playing BYU fans game in the comments section, dude. If BYU, no, it's not going to happen. But if you were to win a national championship, dude, I wouldn't even. No.
I have sat on this show for a decade and espoused about the awesomeness of the Holy War. And I will continue to do so. I think it is the best game. I think it's better than Michigan and Ohio State. I think it is more personal. I think there's more vitriol. I think there's more anger. I think dudes go home and punch. I think families don't talk to each other. Screw you and your half blue and half red hat. And, all the folks in Daybreak that have half a blue and half a red flag. No. No.
Yeah, all the Daybreak folks mingling in their personal lives and then trying to mingle more during rivalry week. We know who you are. We see you. We know your behavior.
I think this is a huge moment in the life and legacy of Kyle Whittingham. And I am really looking forward to this game this weekend. And Chewy apparently is as well. Utah gonna turn Bear Bachmeier into Cub Bachmeier.
So see what he did there. Cubs are that's the name of adolescent age bears. So like kid bears. So like it's not Bear Bachmeier, it'd be Cub Bachmeier if they lose the game. Yeah, it all kind of works together, and it's real Nat Geo nature stuff,
I need my drops back. Sitake coaches like Shiitake Cuckoo.
Okay.
Kalani Sitake's a very good coach. Utah gonna beat Provo Community.
Peasant Provo Community College, Monty.
Hey, isn't that an insult to Utah? That Utah is gonna be Provo Community College?
Chewy.
You're getting pounded worse than Sasaki. Utah gonna beat Provo Community. Okay. Randy Riding gifts 10 Monty Show membership. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Always good to see you. I think it's one of the best rivalries in the country. And I think very few people understand the vitriol and anger.
So do you really think it's going to be a lopsided game?
I do.
Are you prepared to say who you think that's going in favor of, or are you reserving judgment?
I think it's your mom. I think you're
fucking ass.
I think your mom. She is lopsided.
Yeah, that's stupid.
No, I think she's lopsided. There's no doubt. After I was done with her all those years ago.
I'm not too familiar with that.
Yeah, the point is, too much? Probably too much. I'm leaning. I don't know if it's going to be a blowout. Because I started doing like position by positions last night.
Whoa.
We really did.
Again, she's lopsided. But the point is, I think offensively, I think Utah's better offensively. I think Bear cannot play the way he played last weekend and BYU win this game. And that is, if you're a BYU fan, that's what your biggest concern is here, because I think when you look at, again, and I know everybody hates that I get into deep analytics, but again, she's lopsided because of that. When I look at the numbers on BYU, trust me when I tell you Bear Bachmeier is not impressive.
So his QBR is not good.
I think yeah, exactly. His QBR for the third drive of the fourth quarter. Monty, did you see that QBR on that? Did you see that QBR on that one single snap for Bear Bachmeier? What a joke. I think the thing that really worries you is all these great numbers that BYU's offense puts up, and BYU's offense is third in the league, and BYU's offense is behind Utah's offense. Well, that can't be right. Well, turns out it is. Utah scores more 39 points a game, BYU 37. You start looking at the rushing numbers, and you're like, well, Monty, we're the number one rushing offense on the planet. Yeah, it turns out you're second to Utah.
Yeah, but Monty, Utah looked like ass against Texas Tech. They have no chance in this game.
Monty, Bear Bachmeier is a superior quarterback. Yeah, it turns out that Utah's offense is rated higher through the same amount of games, and yeah, they complete 10% more of their passes than BYU does. Oh, but he can't pass, Monty. I know, and it probably hurts your soul, rectally speaking. Devin Dampier's a pretty good quarterback, and is Bear Bachmeier significantly worse? No, but Bear Bachmeier has only thrown the ball 144 times and completed 91 passes for 63%. And you're looking at a guy in Devin Dampier who is the entire offense. And he's completing 71% of his passes on significantly more reps at 165. Like, Utah's offense is better than BYU's offense. Their offensive line is better than BYU's offense. And now you want to get into receivers. Chase Roberts is the best receiver in the state of Utah.
I'm for real.
I have no doubt about that. But did I mention that Ryan Davis has more receptions? Now, he has 4 fewer yards, but he has more receptions and 1 less touchdown than Chase Roberts. And he's averaging pretty much the same yardage per game as Chase Roberts.
I think the intangible, the what can't be seen factor is obviously this is Bear Bachmeier's first, holy war game. And you're talking about it being an elimination game of sorts because of where these two teams are at. And you're talking about playing at home in Provo. with expectations. So this whole idea of, oh, well, Bear's been great, and man, he looked really good against ECU, and he looked good against these guys and that guys, and then looked average last week. And like, it's very simple, dude. You're either going to play well in this game and you're going to make the right decisions, or you're not, and you're going to turn it over against Utah because the moment's going to be massive. There's going to be just huge expectations, and let's see how the kid deals with it, right? I mean, overall, I think he's capable, but would anyone be surprised if we had, again, an early turnover, or maybe some early butterflies or anything like that?
I
wouldn't be surprised. So I'm just saying, if you're Utah, I would be very opportunistic early in this game. I would, my messaging, I agree with Kyle Whittingham's stance on this. I'm not talking about them because it ain't about them, right? If we play our game, if Utah plays their best game, they theoretically should be a better team right now than if BYU plays their best game based on the offenses.
But here's the thing I'm really worried about. Which one of these quarterbacks doesn't finish the game? Because Devin Dampier actually looks remarkably agile now. You can very clearly see that his ankle feels way better. Bear Bachmeier has an awful tendency to take hits, and a lot, because he cannot throw you, especially in the red zone. He struggles. He cannot throw you to a win. And if you're going to run on Utah's defense, you're going to need a cold tub after every quarter. And I know you think I'm kidding. You are going to feel pain. And if Jack Kelly plays, I think this is a possession game. If Jack Kelly does not play, I truly think that Utah could win this game, because I do not trust Bear Bachmeier to throw them to a win. And it is, I look at Utah's defense, and if we're talking about who's played who, UCLA, Cal Poly, Wyoming, Texas Tech, West Virginia, Arizona State, and they handled Arizona State.
Yeah.
If I look at BYU, Portland State, Stanford, East Carolina, Colorado, West Virginia, and Arizona, and they had to. I don't understand how Arizona lost that game. Bear Bachmeier was unbelievable. And I tweeted after that game, that's the game that maybe he learned something out of, because he played horrendous football. And the thing that scares you about Bear, if we're just brass tacks being honest, look at his game log. Go look at his game log and ask yourself, how do you put up 351 on West Virginia, and then you only do 172 and complete 41% of your passes against Arizona? It makes no sense. And what's happening now that you're starting to see him get more exposure and gain more confidence? The interceptions are going up. As the quality of the opponent, so does the interceptions. Totally get that. Young quarterback, new guy. You cannot run this cat 22 times against Utah, because that's the only way they won this game at Arizona. If you run him 22 times, he will be a cripple. I mean,
you're not getting around that. Yeah, and I think I wouldn't run him 22 times. I would be running LJ.
I wouldn't run him. I would not run him 15 times. I think Utah is going to hunt him.
What do you think? Honest question after last year. I mean, certainly for Utah, last year's got to play some part of this equation, right? I mean, with how that game went, and obviously Utah feels like the penalty saved BYU there at the end. We all know that was actually a penalty by the book, but either way, Utah is going to be saying
it's not arguable. That was a penalty.
Yeah, that was a penalty, dude. Yeah, there's no question. And I think that Utah is going to be saying, hey, well, we're not letting it. Let's put them away in the first half, right? To me, if you're Utah, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to go the half with a double-digit lead. That's what you're trying to do. And I don't know that's possible, but that's the mission.
Yeah, I think when I look at Utah, they've just faced better quality. And for 3 quarters, I feel like they were neck and neck with Texas Tech. My question is, in a big game like this, how many penalties are we going to see from Utah? Because I still am not over the terrible Chicago Bear-like mental mistakes that Utah made in the Texas Tech game.
Because it's garbage.
And a lot of that is, if we're being honest, the physicality of Texas Tech forced Utah to make mistakes. The only other team that's even close to as physical as Texas Tech in this league is BYU. And when I look at the numbers, you look at the penalty numbers, I want to see, like, how many penalties does Utah take and how many mental mistakes do they make? Because their mental mistakes are not in volume. It's touchdown Utah until the guy's illegally downfield. Your best offensive lineman, Spencer Fano, illegally downfield by 1.5 steps on something that you practice repeatedly all year long. In the biggest moment where you have a chance to put yourself in position to win the Texas Tech game, illegal man downfield. So, did they have a volume of penalties? No. In that game, it was Texas Tech who had, 14 penalties. I'd have to go back and look, but it's like 14 penalties for 100 yards. But who made the mental mistakes in the Texas Tech game? Utah. And it's because I think they were physically battling. Will BYU be able to put Utah in that same spot? I don't think so. Even though I think BYU's incredibly physical up front. And again, if Jack Kelly plays, and we saw him in a sling all weekend, if Jack Kelly plays, we're having a different conversation, because I think you're going to have to have Devin Dampier outside the pocket a lot more. But if we see, because what have we seen out of BYU's defense, especially on their own end of the field, 40-yard line to the goal line, Isaiah Glasker a lot further away from the line of scrimmage. When Jack Kelly's not in the game, he's playing a lot more rover, which is very interesting to me. I wonder, can you do that against Utah, who doesn't really have a number one receiving threat? Right? If we're being honest, Utah they don't have a Chase Roberts. They don't have a take the top off the defense guy. They truly do not at Utah. They're much more, statistically speaking, if you look at their numbers, Ryan Davis far and away is Devin Dampier's favorite target. But I think if you know the story, because they were at New Mexico together. They have a relationship. They both know the offense.
Yeah.
But does that mean that Ryan Davis is an incredible receiver? No, he averages 10 yards a catch. So he's only got 2 touchdowns. But they don't have anybody that's going to strike fear into that BYU secondary. I mean, I think Dallin Bentley's probably the best tight end in the game. I think he's really good. But I don't know who the number one guy is. BYU, their secondary is really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that this game is going to come down to, handling emotions and handling the moment. I mean, I think that there are weaknesses and strengths in both teams, obviously, but the thing is that both of these teams still have a ton to play for. And I think, if the Holy War, just winning the Holy War and playing for pride wasn't enough, I mean, you're talking about, you're talking about BYU legitimizing itself in the conference, in my opinion, this season. I think if you were to beat Utah, now we can say, all right, yeah, you beat a pretty good team there. Holy War, your place. If you pulled that one out, that's a good win, especially with Iowa State and Tech coming up. You're going to feel really good about yourself heading into those matchups. But this game is, bro. This game is more than anything is each team's ability to not let the moment get too big and to execute the play as it was meant to be run, as we've talked so much about with other teams. And I'm not saying that Bear Bachmeier sucks, but he's going to have to prove he can operate in this kind of environment. especially after this week, because this kind of environment, it's just different. It is personal. It is, there's hatred here. It's just different, and guys respond different ways.
Yeah. And I think you really have to, pay attention to who's injured and who's going to play. And I think it is really concerning, like Raider Dumani, I think is a huge, it's a big deal. When you look at the injuries, like BYU's got a volume of injuries, and in this game, if you're BYU, please run the hell out of LJ Martin. I've been begging for it all year. I haven't gotten it yet. I'd really like to see them go after LJ Martin. I'd really like to see them base their offense around him instead of Bear Bachmeier, because I just think they have not played anybody. And their defense, again, I think Siali Acera did a really good job stepping up for Jack Kelly. I think he graded out really well. I think with Isaiah Glasker being injured, playing, so he's not out, but not being 100%, with Jack Kelly out, I mean, guys like Siali Acera become a huge player, and that it shows their depth. But you really need to see what who's going to play and who's not, because I again think that Raider Dumani and I think that Jack Kelly are really important contributors on that defense. And if Raider Dumani, is not healthy and not able to play, the BYU defense is different. It's not that they can't get after it, right? And so when we talk about those mental mistakes, like you're really going to have to lean on Utah's offense, who I think, and I don't know what you guys think, but I think they learned a lot. We've seen real difference out of Utah's offense coming out of the Texas Tech game. And granted, they've had a lot of thinking to do. And I think we've seen a lot less mental mistakes out of Utah since then. And I think on the other side of it, I think some of the mistakes that we saw from Bear Bachmeier and others against Arizona, maybe some of it was the weather. It was a horrendous rainstorm in Tucson that night, maybe. But I think BYU has faced no real adversity this year.
Mm-hmm.
And that concerns me, because Utah had their soul ripped out against Texas Tech. They were absolutely devastated. And that's what you want in your football team. When you lose, especially at home, I want you to be crushed. It's that bite that we played from, oh man, his name went right out of my head, Urban Meyer. And I think that's a big flipping deal. I look at what I saw in the numbers against Arizona State, and I just, you're not committing a lot of penalties, but you're also not committing a lot of mental mistakes anymore. Yeah. And you're not turning the football over. That's the other thing that I think has to be said about Devin Dampier versus Bear Bachmeier. Devin Dampier just doesn't turn the football over. He doesn't give the football away unless you're playing Texas Tech.
Right.
So Texas Tech's defense, I think, was so overwhelmingly impactful in that game. And I think this Utah offense learned, grow, and has moved forward since then, as you would expect good coordinators to do. But if you look at Devin Dampier, he threw 2 picks in the Texas Tech game, and then that one against West Virginia. And that's it. He's got 11-3 this year. And then you just look at the fact he doesn't turn the football over a lot. And he's got 3 interceptions on 165 attempts. I'm going to take that all day long. This is going to be a really good game.
Yeah.
And my biggest concern is how healthy is BYU.
Well, I mean, Jack Kelly warmed up, without a sling before Arizona. Didn't play, obviously, but did warm up. So, I feel like he's got a chance to play. Now will he be 100%? Totally different story, right?
Well,
We
I
all
don't
know
know
that, guys.
how many guys are 100%.
Yeah, and that's fair. And that's fair.
I think Lasker's not 100%.
Yeah,
I can tell you that
I
right
guess
now.
what it comes down to is Jack Kelly healthy enough, whatever the percentage is, to make the plays he'd typically make to impact the game? That's the question. And I don't know, whether that's 70%, 80%, who knows? But I just think that you're playing a team that's got a quarterback that can run his ass off and get away. You need your linebackers to show up, and that's what's going to be. That could be a problem for BYU if those guys are unable to make the plays they typically make. But we'll see. I mean, maybe Jack, with a couple of weeks off or whatever, comes back and is looking great. And, obviously we saw the rust and the limitations of John Mateer with the hand injury. Obviously a little different story with Jack, but, just kind of up that same alley of like, hey, time off, trying to heal. What does that look like? So, it is, the good news is Jack Kelly's a veteran. This moment won't be too big for him. So I just think it's BYU. What BYU needs is for 95% of that roster to do their damn job, and Bachmeier needs to cover the other 5%. And if that happens, they'll be in a good spot. They'll have opportunities to win this game. But if we are in a place where Devin Dampier is allowed to run all over the place, and you do a poor job setting the edge, and you ask your linebackers to do more than they should, you're that's not a recipe for success. And I think, one of the things coming out of the Tech game for Utah was, yes, Dampier was playing on a bum ankle, as we know, but tried to play through it and was really limited. Now, being that he's healthier now, that's another layer to that offense, and it is another layer for an offense that really needs that layer because you don't have the explosive over the top guy. So I just again, I will keep saying this is one of those games where I'm going to sit here and say it. Kyle Whittingham needs to show up in this game. With all due respect, you need to show up. You need to win this game, for your legacy, for the season. Like, again, we've talked so much that, hey, if Utah doesn't end up sniffing the playoffs, isn't in the Big 12 championship game, doesn't go to the CFP, I think it's time to start talking about Witt and the future 100%. Of that program,
100%.
But on the flip side, again, you win this game, and let's say you're a 3.5 point, road favorite, bro. If you win this game and somehow you were to figure out how to win this game by 10, 12 points, now you've got a ton of momentum heading into the back half of the season, and things are starting to look up. So that's why I'm saying I think this game this year is even more impactful than last year's game ever was. And that's kind of crazy to say.
Yeah, I think, we'll find out. We'll find out, man. We'll find out. I do agree. Which team makes bad mistakes? And I get why that goes against a true freshman quarterback, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be tough. What's the update on Juju's nose? Like, you're being an idiot. Maybe you should take the day off. Both Utah and BYU take a lot of penalties. No, they don't. What are you talking about? Are you out of your mind? No, BYU takes too many penalties. I think Utah is the second least penalized team in the entire conference. And I can look that up. I want to say they have less than, I think they average like 40 yards a game. Utah is the third least penalized team. They have 31 penalties for 46.3 yards a game. Only bested by Iowa State and Kansas State. And K-State's by far the least penalized team in the league. BYU is the seventh most penalized team, averaging 56 yards a game. They have 40 penalties, 334 yards in penalties. Like that's not even a lot. That's not Texas Tech, who is wildly, significantly the most penalized team in the Big 12. I think they average 77 yards a game. I'd have to go over there and look. BYU and Utah do not take a lot of penalties at all in any way, shape, or form. This will be the best defense that BYU has faced to date, and it's not close.
Yep.
Not close. Virginia Tech spending money, Monty. Are you talking about the Mark Stoops rumors? Is that what you're... That's going to have to come to fruition first, because Mitch Barnhart doesn't agree with you. You know, I think it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. There is some thought. I think if you're a Kentucky fan, I think you're hoping that Mark Stoops leaves. I mean, because doesn't he have one of the biggest buyouts in the country?
Yeah.
Mark Stoops? I'm pretty certain he does. But, you know, I mean, and why is he a league candidate when Kentucky's a tough place to win football games? Anyway, we'll see what happens. West Virginia's defense is so bizarre, terrible on defense, but always manages to get multiple turnovers. Ain't that the truth? I don't see a blowout either way. I was being facetious. I think it's going to be a one-possession game. They haven't said, but do you think Kelly separated his shoulder but didn't tear anything? No, from what I understand, it's called rolling your shoulder. The problem is the joint. There's a little joint at the back of your shoulder where your collarbone there's a bunch of stuff that comes together back there, and that's what he sprained. And it's like you breathe on that thing, you fart on that thing, you sneeze, and it is really painful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they need him as much as any player. They need him, and if it's called an AC joint. If he's got a sprained AC joint, dude, that I cannot tell you how much that hurts. And it's a linebacker injury, obviously. I cannot tell you how much pain that is. You can't even touch it. How much of a home field advantage will it be playing in Provo? Not significant. I think what most people don't understand, and Wasa Clownski, because you've earned it with the comment about taking the Mormons at BYU. Anybody who tells you that Utah's not a Mormon school is foolish. All these kids went to high school together. There's so many relationships across the side of these fields that Kyle Whittingham and Kalani Sitake. Kalani used to work for Kyle at Utah.
The Fano brothers.
The Fano brothers left BYU. They're now there. This guy left Utah. He's now there. Like Jay Hill, the defensive coordinator, very close with everybody at Utah. Like this is the difference between going to your mom's house and your dad's house. Your mom's house feels a little more warm and welcoming, even though in Jake's case she's lopsided, but it feels warm and welcoming. Your dad's house it smells like ass and cigar smoke, and you're not as comfortable there.
Hugh Janus.
But you're still going to eat, and the food's going to be amazing. You're going to have a great time. How did home field advantage work out last year? Didn't really work out. And my guess is do you know what this would mean? If BYU wins this game, and I know that people want to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, and if BYU wins this game, to have it be consistently BYU after 10 years of domination by Utah, to win 3 straight. You guys understand that this would be 3 straight for BYU. And I think it would be monumental. I mean, I can't even say how much.
You can't really describe how much it would mean.
To go, what was it, 12 years between victories? Now, they didn't play every year either, but then to win in 2021, 2024, and 2025 would be, to be transformative for that program. So it's huge, huge. Raider being out sucks. Is it for sure he's out? He was already splitting time. He's a different player. I think Raider is a player that when he makes a play, BYU just reacts differently. And I think BYU, their secondary is really good. If you remember what they were last year with Jacob Robinson and that crew, to come back this year and have Evan Johnson play the way he's playing, you look at, you just look at their defenses. Their defense is good, dude. I mean, it's really difficult when you lose a guy in Jack Kelly and then Siali Asera steps up and plays his ass off like that. That just tells you they're well coached. They're well prepared from the 1s and 2s to the 3s and 4s. Like, I agree their secondary's deep. Talon Alfrey is a younger player, but still, I think, inexperienced anyway. He's a guy that I think they're getting contributions from everybody. I mean, I like what they're doing. I do. Jack Kelly, you can't replace him, and I think Raider Dumani is so important. I think he's an incredibly important player for them, and I think that you have to find a way. I don't even like, what is Tanner Wall's status? He's another, like, we need tomorrow to get here so we get an injury update. Tanner Wall is another name that you guys need to pay attention to in this game, because it's going to be, he's been their depth. Your depth gets tested. We're in October now. Everybody's limping around. Everybody's knee and back and taint hurts. Like, it's football.
Yes.
Dude, football hurts everywhere. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays. Utah hasn't won 3 in a row since 89 to 92. I think it's going to be really tough for them to win this game.
BYU hasn't won 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean? That's
what
what
you said. Utah.
BYU hasn't. Yeah. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. This is the kind of game I bet against Utah because I want to be paid to lose and I'll pay to win. Well, you might.
Yeah, I mean, I think Utah is probably a more reliable pick in this game, just with having a freshman quarterback. But the hard part is this game is incredibly unreliable in terms of anything from Vegas positions to prize picks to just picking a winner with your boys. I think it's a very difficult game to pick.
Bro, they bumped Shohei Ohtani out of game 3.
Really?
He is pitching game. He's hurt. I'm telling you, he's hurt.
Who's pitching game 3 then?
Glasnow.
Well, Glasnow gave him a good outing.
Well, but why are you? Yeah.
I don't disagree, but I mean, Glasnow is not some peasant of a fill-in. I mean, he's a good pitcher.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't. Yeah. Jake, who's the best team in the Big 12 right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you have to go with Texas Tech. I mean, I think that that's just where we are at with things. I think that there are several vying for, obviously several vying for the second and third team, but it's just hard to get away from how Tech has looked. I mean, again, as we've talked about the impact that the defense has had in several of these games, the quarterback drama, I think, is the biggest thing that can pull Tech down. I think this Baron Morton situation with the injury and Will Hammond, being everyone's All-American right now, I think is a dangerous game to play. I think Baron has been, a solid option for you, albeit unreliable in the big game. But we don't know what Will Hammond is in games of leverage or games of consequence yet. And I think that with, like if you look at, just like Cincinnati as an example, like there are some people who will say, oh, well, Cincinnati's the best team in the Big 12. Look at the record. But I just don't think that if you put Cincinnati and Tech on the same football field, I'm not sure that's all that close. And that's the thing for me where I sit here and I say, hey, it's Tech in the championship game, in my opinion, unless they just fall off, completely, just go sideways. And we're having a conversation about everybody else, in my opinion. I don't think that there's a real clear, after Iowa State lost to Cincinnati, I don't think there's a real clear number 2 at this time. So I think Tech is the best team still.
I think that, and the reason I asked that question, beyond having to go tinkle, had to go hang out with mid-show P guy.
Right. Did the toilet work? I mean, I know nothing else has been working today, so,
I don't know who the idiot is that decided putting the flush handle on the right side of a toilet tank is the right thing to do.
And as you can see, I'm going through some shit right now.
But if I ever meet you in person, sir, I'm punching you in the face. I don't know who the a-hole is who's like, yeah, Monty, I'm just going to put your flush handle on the right side of the tank. Deal with it.
Are you out of your goddamn mind?
I'm going to take you apart at the joints, prick. Anyway, the point is, I bring this up because I think BYU and Utah are playing for potentially a spot in the Big 12 championship. If BYU wins this game, they're going to the Big 12 championship. And I think I say that because they're going to lose to Texas Tech, and they would have the hammer on BYU or on Utah head to head. Because whatever money they're not paying people in Ames, it's impacting that football team. And I look top to bottom in this league. I don't see a lot of quality. I really don't. I think
dude.
What?
Whatever they're not paying people in Ames, that's savage, bro.
Well, and I'll just keep saying that because if you're going to sit here and you're going to talk about players taking pay cuts and guys take less money to come play here, you're going to lose games. Because instantly guys hear that and they're like, oh, less money. Hey, can I borrow an eraser? And I'm just going to erase Iowa State right off the list here. Let's do that. Because that's what you're doing. You're being stupid. How'd that work out for Mike Gundy? It hasn't. How's that? Like, you just gotta, anyway. This league this year is playing stupid football. And the very fact you don't have a number 2 quarterback in Tempe. Did you see their stadium today? Did you see Sun Devil Stadium, which I'm not going to name that bank because screw them.
Concrete Palace Stadium.
Sun Devil Stadium. I don't know what's in the water. I know climate change isn't real, Monty. Screw the scientists. They had some kind of microdectomy thunderstorm.
I knew today would be shitty.
Ripped signs off the wall, flooded the field, tore banners down. Like, it's wild, the weather we've had in Arizona.
Dilly.
Now, Dilly better get his squeegee and get going on the field or they're not playing. But anyway, my point is, I think this league is going to come down to Texas Tech and whoever wins this game on Saturday night.
Yeah. Because you don't have K-State, you don't have TCU, don't have ASU, right?
Man, TCU is so incredibly disappointing.
Yeah, don't have Iowa State, and nobody believes that Cincinnati's for real, even though you beat Iowa State. And, Baylor, Okie Light, Houston, all that, those guys, you're not Big 12 championship worthy, obviously. So it's another year in another, hey, the Big 12 is a 2-team league at max. And that's unfortunate.
I think it's really poor timing. Yeah. It's just not ideal. It truly is not ideal. All the water takes its toll on a 50+ man. Okay. D. Roche. Think about BYU winning 3 almost makes me cry. Little bro winning 3 in a row. Yeah, you better hope it doesn't happen. The path to the playoff for Tech is paved with tortillas.
And folded pocket knives, but we won't talk about that.
And Leipold tears. No courtesy flush. I love the elbow flusher. Well, you got a courtesy flush. And in public, you got a kick flush, but I generally don't deuce in public.
Yeah, we don't do that, dude.
I employ the courtesy flush with the vent fan going as well. Sometimes I gag myself. Well, hopefully
you take your douche. You don't sit there and look at it. You flush it and move on.
Men of culture never flush the toilet when they're sitting down because you don't want to drag the hot dog through the mud. And so you never what?
You don't want to drag the hot dog through the mud.
Macaque.
Dude.
Hiscock.
I don't know what would even be controversial.
Homomitic.
I'm not sure what the issue is here. I'm not sticking my peen in a muddy puddle. It's not happening.
Timothy.
It's not, Monty. Florida has barely had hurricanes this year, which is why climate change is real. God, Eric, take the day off. See. Just keep not buying Tylenol and go to bed. The idea that Florida hasn't had hurricanes of note this year is an indicator climate change is real. You people who take the O out of count.
And I'll see you in Valhalla.
Good Lord, man. Don't tell TCU James that TCU is out. They are not good. But again, put it on his gravestone. Put it Chicago Cubs, TCU football. Oak State James touches it, it dies. Is what it is.
Yeah, James's stone is going to have like 800 football teams listed, and then all the blueprints he's submitted to schools for changes at stadiums because we know he's done that.
An eggplant representing John Stone's cock.
Preston
Stone.
Same thing.
The Cubs. Ollie Gordon. Just put a Heisman Trophy up there for Ollie Gordon.
No, just put a beer bottle up there.
A Walmart logo for the manager who smashed the manager after he smashed the manager. I mean, the list is endless. You can put a box of Manischewitz on his gravestone because, well, Jake Retzloff, best quarterback
Chicago
ever.
Cub logo after you decided to cheer for the Cubs and knocked them out of the playoffs. Nice job, dude.
Yep. You can put a Laker logo on there because, it turns out boy ain't fat no more. Maybe the Big 12 should have accepted Memphis into the league. They never offered Memphis. You got to be massively disappointed if you're Brett Yormark. You told these ADs to get it together, and they're making the same mistake.
Yep.
And the problem is you can fire Sonny Dykes, and you can fire Dave Aranda, and you can fire Mike Gundy. You want the TCU job or you want the Penn State job? You want because if those three jobs are open, Baylor, TCU, Oak State, it's probably Baylor, TCU, and Oak State in that order. And none of them are nearly as attractive as any SEC job or any Big Ten job named Penn State.
Yeah.
You're taking TCU over Wisco. You're taking TCU over, but are you taking Penn State or are you taking Baylor? Well, you're taking Penn State because they do everything they can do to win games. TCU James, the Weather Channel said that Tempe had a microburst storm. Trees uprooted and there was a lot of roof damage. That climate change not real, man. Can't be true. Cancun Ted learned about it. Exactly. No, he didn't. It's not real. How many religions does James have a ministry in asking for a friend? It's a good question. And they give me a hard time about what teams I root for, and I genuinely was happy that the Bears won last night.
Bro, dude, keep the Bears' name out your mouth. Bro, stop. Stop it. Dude, stop.
Stay hard.
No, we're not letting you infect the Chicago Bears, bro. We're not letting you ruin any positive, get back energy that was, completed last night after that victory over Mr. VR guy in the Commanders.
Are those fingerprints on my sign? They are. I got to clean that. Anyway, James.
Monty.
Why would you bring up the Chicago Bears? You ended the Cubs season. Was that not enough?
Out of here.
Was that not enough destruction and pain? I mean, you couldn't bring up. Next, you're going to bring up the Lakers. You say the Lakers, I'll spit on your shoe. Like
That's the untrained eye.
Don't do it.
Okay, see, this doesn't exist, James. Right here, this most recent comment. That doesn't exist. You don't get to do that as a football fan.
No, I'm not
bro.
a Bears fan. I was rooting for them because I wanted Monty to be happy. You make me unhappy when you
Shut
root
the
for my
fuck
team.
up, Donnie.
You make me go back to rooting for Dak and the Cowboys because notice you got off that bandwagon and what happened? Dak's an MVP candidate. Go root for the Detroit Lions.
Bro, you don't get to listen. Hear me out. Hear me clearly. I don't care how many buildings you've ruined. You as a sports fan don't get to say something like, "Hey, bro, I'm not a Bears fan, but I was rooting for them so Monty, would be happy." And yeah, Boomer Sooner. Now the Chicago Bears go down in flames, just like the Cubs, just like the Hawks, just like the Bulls, just like the Chicago Fire. Just like and if you listen to our politicians,
Mike Gundy, Preston Stone,
the whole city is going to burn down now, according to our politicians.
Hoss Hengy.
Hoss Hengy.
James, do you like notch your belt with the wake of destruction?
Josh Ford,
greatest tight end anybody's ever seen, Monty. Put some respect on his name. Yeah, he's dead.
Come on, bro. The black book is endless at this point.
What would make me happy is if you'd root for the Green Bay Packers. What would make me happy would be if you would root for the Lions.
Yeah, say something good about the Lions. That way at least Wasikowski can be pissed at you and can take a break from his dumb takes about climate change.
The best thing in the world is I've been right about the Lions. They can't get the details right.
Yeah, now everybody agrees on their rankings.
Your power rankings have nothing to do with the impact on global warming, Monty.
Like my skin is curling.
I'm just little old stupid ass who doesn't know how to do power.
Look at him spiting us right here with this most recent comment. I hate the Packers.
Why are you a fan of the Bears then? Stop. Stop it.
Dude, he's going out of his way to ruin the Bears season at this point.
You are.
Yay.
Hi,
this is James. Welcome back.
Dude, one of the topics we're going to talk about today is what happens when you die. And when you talk about the Bears, small children die. I want you to know, angels, they're when you talk about my teams, angels lose their wings. Right? And I just want you to understand the damage that you're doing in this country, James. It's bad enough you drive a Civic that's got TCU stickers on it. And I would imagine, I just don't know what to, I don't have nice things to do. I have pain and suffering. And it's because of you. And Greg, that's exactly right. Go Bears. And my emotional swings last night with idiot kicker from San Francisco making that field goal to win us the game.
Again, here we go. You can't have an NFC team and an AFC team, dude. That does not exist in NFL fandom. That doesn't work that way.
Are you serious about this right now? You're a Kansas City Chiefs fan. You are not a Dallas Cowboy fan. You are a TCU fan and a Baylor fan and a Kansas City Chiefs fan. You made your bed. Now lie in it.
And an SMU fan, and an Oak State fan, and a Endless Teams fan.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Whenever we talk about the Cubs, we need to donate to UNICEF for the carbon offset.
Damn.
I'm such a miserable sports fan. I did a video. I have taken to doing videos while bad things are happening to my sports teams.
Bro is F-bombing on TikTok while Jake can't make a kick. Moody is kicking to lose the game, and he actually makes the kick.
I love it. Yeah, please. It's just settle down.
The victory has already been won.
You know, I think, aren't you a Lutheran, James? Just fucking
Methodist, please.
Just look, Methodist, settle down a little bit. Okay.
Keyword being meth.
I'm not a Baylor fan. Yeah, you are.
Yes, you are.
I got my degree from Oak State. Who cares? You're a TCU fan.
Bro, you literally were in here 3 weeks ago saying you married a Baylor fan, so now you're a Baylor fan.
Only after the Walmart manager smashed a Walmart manager.
Hello, man.
Smash. Oak State James is a Yankee fan, and Dana is a Red Sox fan.
Oh, notice we haven't seen any Dana in the chat today.
My AFC team is the Chiefs. NFC team is the Cowboys. NL is the Dodgers. AL is the Yankees. West is the Lakers. East is the Knicks. My college football team is Utah, BYU, Arizona, and Colorado.
Bro.
We're playing roulette and putting chips all over the board. Spread them out. James should go to Southern Methodist University. Mount Test Dallas. Yeah, how did you wind up filleting, Preston Stone for all those years on this show?
Human or non-human?
He's going to dominate BYU. Yeah, he got benched that next week.
Okay, see, now we're making progress here. Now we're making progress. He's admitted his formula to us now.
I only root for teams in places I have lived or gone to school at. Okay. I can't. No, I'm not playing your stupid game.
James is like, yeah, my favorite golfer on Live is Brooks. Jesus, and I'm a Scotty guy in the PGA.
Did you guys hear how much money they lost? You want to talk about gaping?
Okay. Bro, you can't say I'm not going to drag my hot dog through the crap or whatever you said and then use the word gaping. Like
macaque.
No redos. I don't really get it.
Live Golf got gaped by their paychecks, dude. Like it is.
The book right now, we ask.
Dude, they have lost so much money.
Billions.
I don't know. I have no idea how they continue. I don't know. It is wild to me.
Because it's nothing to them. That's how. It's nothing to them.
They lost $1.46 billion last year. They lost $1 billion last year. And I'm like, how? The PGA Tour is the only one making money. I hope people understand that. And Live Golf ain't it. And I just, the money, they are hemorrhaging money at Live Golf. How long can you go on like this? And I know it's all money, boy, but dude. And they're only in season 5. That's the wild thing. Like according to The Athletic, public filings for Live Golf Investments Limited, which owns both UK and Live Golf Inc., which is UK Golf is their event company, raised equity injections of nearly $4 billion through the end of 2024. The total, of course, does not include the entire 2025 season, in which Live Golf stays 14 events. The Athletic reported that an additional $983 million in shares have been issued for Live Golf investments. So you're asking people to inject billions because you're losing billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. And I don't know how you survive. They lost $590 million just on golf tournaments last year. Just on golf tournaments, they lost $590 million. In total, they lost $1.4 billion. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's ridiculous. Major gaping going on in South Bend. Could be. Could be.
Do you see what you do? Do you see what you do?
What?
Now we got people commenting gaping.
What? What's wrong? What? It's a gap that's ing. I don't know
It's
what
not the best situation, and we all know that.
Greg Hawkins, for every $1 in revenue, Liv spends $8.50. Oh my God. Oh my God. Good luck. I hate the word gaping. Okay, moist. Do you know how never mind. Gumby, what are we doing with the rat? Okay. Wasn't Live Golf created to tick off the PGA? It was. It was. It absolutely was. Real quick, who's better, Dodgers or Thine Brew Crew? If you're just tuning in, James is a Cubs fan. That's why we lost. And the Milwaukee Brewers at some point are going to run out of luck. They had a double play last night. They had the bases loaded, 1 out. I don't even remember who hit it. Dude hits a bomb to center. The Brewers center fielder, it hits his glove, hits the wall, hits the ground. Or no, hits the glove, hits the wall. He catches it, throws it into the plate. They get the force at the plate, and then they go step on third. They get the force at third, inning over. The umpires never called it a catch or not a catch, so the Dodgers had no choice but to treat it as a catch. And it turns out it hit the wall, so the bases were loaded. It was a force at every base. At some point, that luck runs out. Now, you still lost the game because the lovely politician Blake Trinan came in and closed because Roki Sasaki, well, he couldn't get you out.
Ass.
But, Jake, who's better, the Brewers or the Lawyers?
Well, I certainly think that the Dodgers starting pitching is just sensational right now. I mean,
Blake now was...
I mean, just cruising. And I was at a point with it where I was like, dude, I understand it was a 1-run game, clearly a safe situation, clearly bring your closer in type situation. But I was at a point with it where I was like, dude, I think he was at 97 pitches after 8. Yeah. I was like, bro, he's cruising in this game.
You got to let him finish that game.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I just let him finish this because he has had their number all night long. And so then you bring Sasaki in, and it's just he just couldn't. His stuff was good. He just couldn't throw a strike with it. That was the problem. He had so much movement with it. He was constantly behind. And so then you bring Trinan in, and he almost hits Terang with the breaking ball, and ultimately finishes the game and gets the dub. But dude, if they're going to continue to get starting pitching like that, I don't care what you're doing in your bullpen. If you're going to get 6+, 7+ out of your starter, I mean, that's not that they will. I mean, usually they'll get 6+, but that just was to get that win on the road. It's going to be hard to beat them in this series now that you lost one at home.
If you wanted them to win, why didn't you root for the Brewers? Why don't you root for the Brewers? You would have been doing me a favor.
Is that a real question?
Root for the Clippers. The umpire ruled it not a catch. They made the safe motion. Yeah, I disagree with that. You have to. Yeah, anyway. Saw an article saying forever chemicals are being found in 95% of American beer. Truth. We've talked about that on this show. Dodgers are 2 stacked. Stadium guy James, respect. It's all in fun. Go Cubbies. Maury Alvarez, hello, my favorite Floridian. James, stick to your own team. Oh, sorry, teams.
Damn.
Stop endorsing everyone else's teams and keep BYU out your mouth. But I would love to endorse the Utes this week. Yeah, if you can endorse the Utes this week, James. I will say going to Wrigley Field is on my bucket list. You're never allowed in there. And I have season tickets, and I won't give them to you. Dodgers until they bring in the bullshit pen. Say typo there. Stuff happens. Dodgers are better. Brewers have no slug, but they match up well against LA.
Yeah.
They play small ball. They do the little things that win you baseball games. Dodgers will win it all. That bullpen's scary. Dodgers, and it's not even close. Remember, Rob Manfred went into the Phillies locker room and openly discussed about a salary cap, and Bryce Harper flipped out. Dodgers have money. Having money will make them win. Could be. Does Bryce Harper go back to Philly? Interesting.
What are you going to do? Go
Right.
and play for the Dodgers?
He clearly he does signal safe, but you have to find a way to communicate that better. Is that the third base umpire's call? If you're on the bases, are you looking at the third baseman or the third base umpire?
No.
That's the issue. That's what Dave Roberts was upset about. Why it just was so poorly communicated, in my opinion. It just, I don't know. Do the Phillies give Bryce Harper an extension? How do you let him walk away?
Yeah, I don't think you're definitely giving him an extension.
I mean, Schwarbaum's going to go back, but you got to extend Bryce Harper. Only reason I would go back to a BYU game is to eat a cougar tail. And you say me saying gaping is a bad thing. Preferably when they do the chocolate topped ones.
Okay.
You understand there are strip clubs in Provo. You can get that done.
Dude. Now you're a chocolate guy? Now you're okay, so you're what? Chocolate ice cream, chocolate cougar tail. You know. I mean, in the chat, chocolate or strawberry. What's our best flavor, dude?
Chocolate or cherry?
Wow.
Nothing.
Length and girth.
Okay. I try on this show. To be fair, Bryce Harper is the only one with power and seniority to flip out. He's a leader in the Philly locker room. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Bryce doesn't benefit from his outburst. He was doing it for the guys who couldn't say anything. I agree. Bring on the robots. Okay. No, Johnny, I gave you my formula. Besides, Oak State does not have a seminary.
Brother, why do you need a formula?
Yeah, that doesn't mean you get to root for Oak State and TCU. That's disgusting.
And Baylor and SMU and KC and Dallas.
To be fair about SMU, he was rooting for Preston Stone's unit.
Clean cut.
Right. He was hoping it had been back to the right. It's more comfortable from what I understand.
Hiscock.
You know, I had 3 choices for my D-men. Nobody cares. D-men's different than seamen. Anyway, I chose TCU.
Waves in opposition.
Bro.
I'm not a good person.
Stop,
I'm not. I don't even try to hide it.
Dude.
James wants the hot dog dragged across the mud. I think he does.
Stop it.
And I'll see you in Valhalla.
Stop it, bro.
Oh, this is such a good day. Dodgers can win it all if James roots for the other team they play against. I agree. Don't forget Syracuse. Yeah, don't forget Syracuse, James. So in James' world, who wins, TCU or Oak State?
Baylor.
Well, he wins because then he's easily surpassing 21 times a month at that point.
Stop,
brother.
Bro.
Oh my God. You know, but
dude, this is supposed to be a family program here, bro. Yeah.
What's not a family what's not family?
Wow, man. Demon or seaman? Man, I can't tell the difference.
What? I support the United States Navy.
The biggest load that we've seen.
Yeah. What is wrong with you guys? Like the outrage, it's outrageous that
and girth.
That you can't properly apply your own semen. Right? If you don't know how to use semen, that's your problem.
You got to get stroked.
I am experienced using semen. And when I talk semen, I'm talking about the United States Navy. I don't know what you're talking about. You know.
I think I did it every time.
You know, these guys are going to come
a lot. Apply your own what now? Exactly. Monty, chill.
Juicy.
Okay. Nope. I have friends at church that are Texas fans. I want them to win.
No, dude. No, you don't, bro. No.
The thing that I love is James is like, oh, I'm this guy of virtue, man. I just want, look, man, I wake up in the morning singing fucking Kumbaya and shit, right? Like, I'm like,
And listen, Monty, as a Methodist, singing Kumbaya really starts my diet correctly.
Kumbaya, my Sooners. Kumbaya. I mean, what do you have to lose? Kumbaya. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Look, why don't you smash a Walmart manager and she smashes a Walmart manager?
You did. Yes, you did.
What? I mean, it changes your perspective. It changes your DNA, and the semen thing changes. And so you're like, Kumbaya, my Lord. And you'll just clap all day thinking about smashing Walmart managers in the back room.
In God's name, image, and likeness.
Bro, seriously, you were married to a Walmart manager. Did you ever participate in activities inside of the building?
Tell me this, James. Guys. I have a question, James. Did you smash the Walmart manager on one of those little battery carts up front for the
that's
cripple?
stupid.
Did you guys do that after hours? I'm just like, let me ask you. You know those gates they put down on the optical department? Did you raise the gate, which is different than lowering the bridge? But did you raise the gate and stuff? And tell me, dude, I need to know these. You know,
I don't know. I don't know.
You do know. Don't say you don't know.
I don't quite know how to answer that, to be honest.
I just want to know. I just want to know. No. Okay. No, James, not my Longhorns. Exactly.
Yeah, James is always out here with a Longhorn.
Please. James, please root for Bryce Underwood. You know how much I like Bryce Underwood. Root for Bryce Underwood. James and his rectory live live rent-free in Monty's head, What about the tables in the fabric department? Listen, did you get those little stick pins they use? You know when you buy a new dress shirt at Walmart and they have those little pins in the collar. You ever smash with one of those in your hindquarters?
Monty, listen, we went to the fabric department. And it was really quite something because I had actually shown up to the Walmart Super Center in my little linen outfit and my Jesus Walk sandals. And I felt very prideful about my outfit. So it really was a true experience.
I was wearing my TCU shirt back there in the back stock room. We were smashing on top of some Orange Crush and the bottle burst. Let me tell you, the shirt's not purple anymore. Is it orange? No, it's white. Anyway. Oh, come on. You said you want to make me happy and you won't root. You said you want to make me happy and you won't root for Michigan. This is ridiculous. James putting the fabulous in the fab department. Yeah. So that's why my soda was flat. No, that's why your soda had floaties in it. Okay. Thank God James doesn't like Michigan. Michigan cheated. Should have had a 3-year bowl ban. I thought you were a nice guy. Listen.
Listen, Monty, us Methodists believe that everybody was created in God's image, and we are called to help all people.
Including the Iraq.
And some people don't have maps such as in like the Walmart fabric department. But, listen, we figured it out.
The Walmart. To be honest, who would root for Michigan? Nobody.
The Iraq.
Nobody would. Dang, you should have said no ban James to help us out. Well, God's name, image, and likeness. Look, guys.
God's name, image, and likeness.
Preston Stone, I gotta blame because I've seen that horn, and I gotta tell you something. So you like Tech? Okay, guys, here's my team: Texas, Oak State, TCU, Baylor, SMU. Out of fingers. Texas Tech, Rice, but not Spanish rice, only white rice. UMass, WeMass, they Mass, Air
Your
Force,
mom's mass.
but not Michigan, because your lopsided fat ass mom is a Michigan fan. Now, let me tell
when
you
I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
Bro.
The Naval Academy, the Army Academy, Air Force, Colorado State, all the mountain schools, Monty. I'm lost. I'm lost. Hey, dangerous to talk Spanish rice in America right now. Listen, you guys, don't eat Spanish rice. They're going to deport you.
Monty, I went to Seattle to look at UW's renovation of, section 178 in the south end zone. And listen, dude, the Spanish rice vendor there was there talking about how the city's not burning down. Can you believe this?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they put him in a body bag and threw him over the border into Vancouver. Can't figure out what happened there.
Who the f*** is that guy?
It was Preston Stone that led Northwestern to beat Penn State.
Bro, see, this is what we're talking about, dude.
So I was tracking Preston Stone all the way up there to the car wash locker room. And I saw him beat I saw him. You want to talk about a knuckle deep guy? I mean, a knuckle doesn't do it justice. He's at least a thumb, and he's probably somebody's foot. I mean, big toe minimum. Trust me. I want to talk about 21 times a month. I was watching Preston Stone against Penn State. Dude, Joe Paterno was right.
I know, reset.
Okay. Now I'm a Penn State. No, now I'm a Northwestern fan, too. Can you guys teach me that cool little car wash thing you did in the locker room?
Guys.
Let me try that out in the rectory, boys.
We just had this great win over Cock on Thigh. So let's go ahead and head to the showers, and we'll figure it out. Okay. So anyway,
let's talk football.
So,
what is the ceiling for Caleb Williams and the Bears? Do you guys believe that Caleb Williams can ever be the best quarterback in the NFL? I don't think he can. Not until I see him complete 68% of his passes, because I think he's not an accurate passer. But this is a 4,500-yard passing dude. I think what we saw last night against Washington was finally a situation where Caleb Williams stepped up and he made multiple throws on that final drive to win the game for the Bears. And again, I tend to agree. Caleb Williams, it isn't that he won the game for the Bears. It's that he did not make the critical soul-crushing mistake. He didn't miss the wide receiver wide open, right? He didn't make the mistake that cost the Chicago Bears the game, Jake. And I think you have to look at the way he played, and you have to look at having Brisker back in the secondary for the Bears, their ability to pass rush, their ability to turn Washington over, and more importantly, the best quarterback anybody's ever seen. And I think Caleb Williams played a pretty big role in them winning that game.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question about it. I think the question of can he ever be the best quarterback in the NFL is largely out of his control, right? I mean, I think that, you got to look at the organization. You got to look at what's around him. Obviously, how quality is your defense? I think that Caleb Williams has all the talent in the world. I think that the thing that frustrates me about the Bears is that it's really week to week with this team right now. I mean, some weeks, they show up, it looks intentional. It looks like they're trying to execute a game plan. It looks like they're really putting effort into what they prepared to do on offense. And then other weeks it looks like, hey, yeah, like this is what we thought we were doing, but it's just kind of messy. It's kind of undisciplined. It's kind of, formational penalties, just not being disciplined here or there. Like, it's just little stuff like that adds up for this team right now. And I think that's what they're dealing with. Now, again, it has to be said that you're in the first year with a new head coach. So some of this stuff is to be expected.
Yes.
3 seasons from now, is Caleb Williams, pushing 4,000, 4,500 yards? Absolutely. But again, my question for the Bears is
I think he'll break 4,000 yards this year.
And maybe he will. And maybe he will. The problem is that the issue is that 4,000 yards this year is going to be a great accomplishment for him and for this offense. But the problem is I just don't think that leads to a playoff berth because you're struggling in other areas. And so to be the best quarterback in the league, your team has to be legitimately good. You got to be like to be recognized as the best quarterback in the league, I think you got to be. I mean, you got to at least be a divisional round caliber team, right? You got to be a team that is going to win a couple of big games. You know, you got to, like, as an example, in your own division, you got to be able to beat the Lions once in a while, right? You got to be able to go on the road, get a big win, do these things, make rock the boat a little bit. And so to me, it's like I think, if the Bears can draft well, get him some protection on the line, and then find their way into a deep threat, find their way into a difference maker in the wide receiver room. Yeah, then I think you're going to start to see some serious, gash defense type progression out of this offense. But that's going to take time. But I do personally think that Caleb Williams has the talent, just the absolute raw talent, to go out and do a lot of the stuff he's asked to do. It's not a talent issue. It is just simply a what's around you and how do those guys do their job to help you do your job situation.
Yeah, I think that there's no question that Caleb Williams will throw for 4,000. If all things remain equal, he stays healthy. The DJ Moore injury last night's a little scary. I mean, I don't know how many people heard Bears wide receiver DJ Moore went to the hospital and stayed in D.C. overnight last night. Apparently, he was dealing with a groin injury. There was a concern about blood flow to his lower leg. Like, he's back in Chicago now, but if Caleb stays healthy, I mean, if Zacchaeus catches that ball last night, he's gone. That's a 75-yard touchdown. We're having a different discussion. Caleb overcame that. I don't see any reason if he doesn't stay healthy that he doesn't throw for 4,200 yards. I think the defense needs a lot of work. Jalen Johnson being out is killing us. I think that the offensive line was significantly better this week coming out of the bye. And I think that's huge, that they got this better, that we were able to have Colston Loveland has to become a better blocker. It is problematic. Colston Loveland is a not good blocker. And I think if once he gets better, because then you can truly run two tight ends. And what the Bears are doing is they'll line up Colston Loveland in the slot, bring Cole Kmet across the formation. And all night last night, Washington was telling you they were in man, which was amazing, which means you have a guy following Cole Kmet across, or whoever the motion man is. Cole Kmet comes across, smashes the slot corner. Colston Loveland breaks down and hits the defensive end. And DeAndre Swift runs up the one play was the left side for like a 30-yard gain. Like, that's Detroit Lions. Oh, excuse me. That's Ben Johnson football. And that's what's also exciting. You're starting to see Ben Johnson's imprint on this offense and Caleb executing at a high level. So, yeah, I think he has a chance. He has a chance to be 4,000 yards. But again, I think you have to level set for this team and understand the Chicago Bears are not a playoff team this year. I said it in the summer. I think the Bears are better than the Minnesota Vikings, but they're not on par with the Green Bay Packers. And then secondarily, they're close, but not on par with the Detroit Lions. Yeah. And I think the Packers are the best team. The Lions are second. And I think the Bears and Vikings will miss the playoffs. Do the Bears have a chance to make the playoffs? Sure they do. The percentages are not on their side because I don't think you have the defense. It's not the offense, it's the defense that most concerns me. And I go back, we'll do power rankings tomorrow. So Eric Wasikowski should probably take the week off. But you look at the Bears are winning their third straight. That's really important. Here's the biggest question. What's wrong with the Buffalo Bills? Because we just can't keep sitting here every week and Big Daddy Magic. Should we try and call Big Daddy Magic? He hasn't been on the show this week. Maybe we try and call him because he tried to call me. He tried to call me yesterday during the show.
Monty.
Okay,
here we go.
Let's see what happens here. I don't know how to. We're calling him. See if he answers. Is that as loud as it gets?
Is it ringing?
Yeah. There we go. And why is iPhone does some stupid stuff? Let's see if he answers. I don't think he's going to answer, but see, you guys see my shoe collection? There's my camera. There's the shoe collection. He's not going to answer. God damn it. I tried. I don't know what's going on with the Buffalo Bills. We can't anymore just look past Josh Allen making fundamentally stupid mistakes on the football field again. And I mean, if we're talking about real concerns, Josh Allen having 180 yards passing and 2 interceptions, and then you start looking at him just putting the ball in danger repeatedly, he could have probably thrown 3 interceptions easily. The bigger issue is they're not explosive offensively, and you have injuries now with Josh Palmer, and Dawson Knox, I thought probably was the best receiver he had, him or Ray Davis last night. This team needs to go and make a move. And Sean McDermott is in real jeopardy here. If this team does not compete for an AFC championship, how do you keep Sean McDermott as your head coach?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can. And I think that the issue is more than just the numbers and the poor play. It's getting to a point where the only, solution that hasn't been exhausted yet is a change at the head coaching position. So I think that it's just, I look at teams like Buffalo, we'll get to Miami, but like you look at the teams around the league that are really struggling and really in these bad spots where they're underperforming. I think that, they try different things, right? Like you try different schemes. You try, hey, let's do training camp differently. Let's change something week to week in our process. Like we try these different things, but the reality is that there has to be everyone on it's the old Nick Saban, right? Everyone's got to be on the bus in, the right butts in the right seats.
Yes.
And it just doesn't ever feel like Buffalo can quite put it all together, because one year you're going to have a dominant defense. The next year you have a crap defense and a great offense. And we all want to sit here and hate on Josh and say it's all on him and he turns it over too much. But part of last night, I thought, was he didn't play well. There's no question about it. And there's no sugarcoating about that. But part of his problem is guys just are not getting open. Like he doesn't have a lot of places to go with the football. And that's why he's putting it in dangerous situations, because dudes aren't good enough to get open individually.
Oh. Do we have a development? Big Daddy Magic, are you going to answer? He just called me back. There he is. Big Daddy Magic. There he is. Oh my God. So, are you going to apologize to me now?
For what?
Josh Allen being a shitbag quarterback?
No. Let me tell you something, Mr. Timothy.
Uh-huh.
Josh Allen's the closest thing we have to Superman. It's the practice squad defense we have.
Oh. So did the practice squad defense throw 2 interceptions last night, including one that ended the game?
Well, his mom had COVID.
Oh, his mom had
Worried
COVID.
about it. And his wife, half her family's pregnant. That's why Josh Allen had a bad game.
Look, I don't know if Josh Allen's wife's sister.
Bro, there's always something pregnant when we talk to dude.
Yeah, I mean, you're the girls in your life run through dick like I don't even know how to describe.
Okay,
so
now, Monty,
yes.
I want to make a bet with you.
Okay, wait. No, hang on. Where's my Chicago Bears 3X long sleeve T-shirt, Big Daddy Magic? Because
well,
Josh Allen.
First of all,
Josh Allen sucks.
I want Caleb Williams' mom's breast tested for steroids.
No, the problem is if you get around Caleb Williams' mom, she's going to get pregnant. So we can't do that.
No, that's not even funny.
Yes, it is.
No, stop it. I want to make a bet with you.
Okay.
All right. If the Utes beat BYU, you have to buy me a long red sleeve Buffalo Bills thing.
What? But you're a BYU fan.
No, I'm an AJ DeBanza fan.
Right, same thing.
So you're a BYU fan.
You have to buy me 2 red sleeve T-shirts, but if they don't win, it's over. I don't get any more chances unless Spencer Filoni gets drafted by the Bills.
Okay, then I want you. The only way I'll do that is if you pledge allegiance to the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes.
I'd rather lick a llama's anus.
I can arrange that. We can set that up. I mean, we've done remotes. I can get you a llama's asshole if that's what you really want.
Oh, but the reason I called you yesterday, you won't believe who I ran into in Salt Lake.
Do tell.
By accident.
Huh?
Guess who I ran into by accident in Salt Lake?
My mom?
Rudy?
No, Clay Thompson.
Oh, no way.
Just randomly. I was looking for that pussy-faced frog, Cooper Flag. Didn't see him. But Clay Thompson was at the same restaurant I was.
If Cooper Flag dunks on Victor, which is going to happen, do I get a 3X long sleeve Dallas Mavericks T-shirt for Oak State James?
I'll make you a deal.
Uh-huh.
If Cooper Flag dunks on Victor Wembanyama, I will run down State Street naked.
Don't you do that already? Isn't that why you got a citation?
I was going to say, but Big Daddy Magic, the last time you did that, you got a public intoxication ticket.
I don't drink anymore.
Okay. Well, then if you're not drunk, why are you believing that Josh Allen's a good quarterback?
He's the greatest quarterback in the world. And everybody can piss on him right now, but the Buffalo Bills are going to come back. They're going to kill the Kansas.
Woo!
And
Cena.
I just can't wait to just never see Taylor Swift again.
All right. Okay.
Is John Cena the best wrestler ever?
If Utah wins, I get 2 red long sleeve red T-shirts.
Now it's 2 of them.
It's always been 2 because I figure if you didn't get me 1, why not get me 2? Because I can't find them anywhere.
Well, what makes you think I can find them?
Because you know everybody.
I do. That's true.
Doesn't he want a whiteout one instead?
Dinner reservations.
If they listen, if the Buffalo Bills don't win the Super Bowl.
No, because I don't want nothing if they don't win the Super Bowl. It's just going to break my achy, breaky heart.
If AJ DeBanza transfers to...
Nope. AJ DeBanza is going to be a Jazz player. I have top secret information about that.
Okay.
The Jazz are going to get him.
Hey, how did your Utah Hockey Club do last night?
I don't know, but I'm going to the game on Friday.
They lost to the Chicago Blackhawks.
Oh, fuck. I hate Chicago.
Okay. Just remember, John Cena is better than Hulk Hogan.
Don't you say it. I hate John Cena. He's lucky I never see him on the street because if me and him, we get in a fight and I slapped the shit out of him.
Yeah, but you can't see John Cena. That's the whole point.
Yeah, the problem is when you're on the street, you can't see him, right? He's right in front of you. And
yeah. Hey, Timothy, if you see me on Peacock on Saturday night's main event.
Okay. I did not. I
Hiscock.
Oh, can I show you something real fast?
No.
Hiscock.
It would mean a lot to me. It's the first T-shirt I ever won.
Okay, then say something nice about Patrick Mahomes.
His mom's good looking.
Okay, I like it. Okay, show me the first T-shirt you ever won.
Even though... Shit. See?
Okay.
Fox noon kickoff. I wanted a shirt because I had a sign that said the Monty Show, 3 to 6. Fuck John Cena.
Okay. What? Before I let you go, what's on the fast food menu today?
I don't know. I haven't ate yet.
Okay. All right. Well, don't go to Taco Bell. Go get a double cheeseburger at Burger King.
I hate Burger King.
Okay. AJ DeBanza is going to transfer.
I hope not.
And
because I need to be there on Saturday because I'm going to the Holy War.
Okay, Victor's out for the year, okay?
No, don't you say that.
Oak State James. Oak State James is.
He only comes once this year. I have to fly to Denver to see him.
Wait, he only comes once this year? Is that because he went and hung out with like the priests and the monks, so he can only come once?
No, he comes during Sundance, and I'm going to miss Sundance to go see Victor because I haven't seen him since April when he had his air conditioner broken in his apartment, and I offered to help him, but you don't do that.
Okay. Alexa's talking in the background. Anyway, all right. Well, hey, you be good, and I just want you to know that Josh Allen sucks and he's terrible, and I will.
You know something.
What's that?
When the Buffalo Bills beat the Kansas City Chiefs, James has to give me a red long sleeve t-shirt. But if Kansas City wins, James is going to be hosting the show with you the whole day.
Right, but Oak State James told me that he is privately because he wants you to be happy. Okay, he's a Methodist. He wants you to be happy. He's going to root for Victor Wembanyama.
Oh, he better not.
He does. He loves him. He said that
he doesn't.
his
He likes Super Flag.
he is a no. Oak State James. His exact words are,
That's mean.
No, bro. He loves you.
That's the hockey puck I got.
Listen, bro. Oak State James is a child of God. He said that.
Methodist.
Thank you. He's a Methodist with God and stuff. And he said that MFer Victor Wembanyama is going to have the best year in the history.
That.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
I know for a fact that James has a picture of Victor Wembanyama in his Bible.
I know that because he loves him. He loves him.
What about on his car?
He has Caleb Williams sucking on his mom's boob in his Bible.
With his and with nail polish on.
Yeah.
Because he knows he put
Buffalo Bills red.
Right, in stuff. And I'm just telling you, he has Victor Wembanyama in his Bible because he forearm strengthens to Victor like 10 times a week.
Oh, and remember, you said you'd buy me multiple jerseys if BYU goes 10-2.
I never said that.
Yes, you did. You said it on August 8th.
Okay, so I'm supposed to buy you BYU football jerseys even though you're not a BYU fan. Yeah, see, that doesn't work out. I know, but you just told me I have to buy you BYU stuff if they go 10-2. Anyway, okay, listen.
Look at my helmet.
Josh Allen sucks, and
no, he doesn't.
It's always good to see you.
Mom sucks.
Yeah,
it's always sunny in Josh Allen.
No, Caleb Williams' mom doesn't suck. Caleb Williams.
Yes, he does.
No.
I left so much of my hair between the secret and a sweater.
No, Caleb Williams' mom doesn't suck. Caleb Williams sucks his mom, okay?
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Have a good night, buddy.
You too. Bye-bye.
See, it's the entertainment I provide for you guys. This is the stuff I do. Oak State James, start rooting for Buffalo and Victor Wembanyama. We need your curse here. It's got to happen because I can't have good things happen to other people's teams. Josh Allen doesn't suck. BDM, he's just giving you a hard time. James, what do you think of Victor Wembanyama, James? Victor is the second coming of Sean Bradley, tall and no talent.
Okay, why would you say that, dude?
Can you just help me one time? Can you maybe just help me one time? Just once. Jerry Springer show, exactly. We need a BDM call as a weekly segment. We could do that. Jake doesn't play drops anymore. Victor is the closest thing to proof that extraterrestrial. Right. You know, I like it. All right, There you go.
Man, wow, that was.
I'm so happy right now. I cannot tell you guys. My listing on Amazon has a real review. They're in the lesson. You guys are a pleasure. That probably came out wrong. I appreciate all of you watching the show. If you get in a wreck, get hurt at work, be prepared. Call the advocates or get to theadvocates.com 24/7, 365. Not a chatbot, a real live attorney. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.